Good evening. It says we are live, so I'll confirm. I already see that Jeremy's got a comment ready to go. So, good evening, Jeremy. So, Kamita and I were just having a little bit of chat, kind of leading into this. So, it is another Sunday evening. We're here just kind of hanging out, talking a couple of different hobby topics. And of course, one of the ones we definitely have to start off with. So, we'll get started on this one just to get us warmed up a little bit. So, let's talk about, the big Gretzky sale. So 1.2 million and then 1.6 million, I believe, including the buyer's premium. I can get the exact numbers, or $1.69, or $1.29 as per Beckett. So if you go to Beckett.com, you could have had this for $1.30, guys. I was willing to go to $1.50, but apparently somebody outbid me in the message thread because they were willing to go with a $5. So you can imagine, we could have reset some serious records here, guys. We could have really done it and reset some serious records.
Would have been worth more than a Ziggy Palfy, man. Like, I don't know. Ziggy Palfy.
Settle down, sir.
All right.
We'll
I got all excited. We might have a record, man.
We'll get to Ziggy. We'll get to Ziggy, and I'll demonstrate before this broadcast is over. I will demonstrate why at $1.29 for the Gretzky rookie. Like, honestly, that's probably about what the Gretzky rookie should have gone for. But I will show you what a proper icon of the sport goes for, because I'll show you a pickup I got on Comstate.
All right.
Iconic card, a real iconic card, not this common Gretzky rookie junk. Whatever.
Yeah. Let's put the frayed edges.
Listen, I had two of those and sold. I had two of those and sold them off. Like, junk.
Maybe I see a little bit of brown fraying edges. It's just bad judge of character. I just can't buy it.
That's all I'm saying, man. Like, it's unacceptable. And that edge, Ameet, the rough cut edge. Come on, PSA 10 rough cut edge. Whatever.
Those scissors you get, like my 3-year-old has scissors, like those children's school scissors.
You had some O-Pee-Chee rough cuts coming home.
So that's a rough cut.
Oh,
actually, it's even rougher when it's your finger, but that's a different story.
Nice. So what I want to do is, outside of the fun I like having at the Gretzky rookie's expense, there is like some serious things though that come from it though, because what it makes me think, one of the things that you think about when it comes to this, anytime you get a big like record price, the important thing is like, okay, so does this mean anything outside of being a good story, be a trivia piece? Like, what does it actually mean? And the thing is, right now, at the moment, so I'll start off with this. At the moment, nothing. Not because it's not important, not because it's not a news story. It's notable. It's definitely worth talking about. But the question is downstream impact. That's the part we're talking about here. So real quick, I'll grab a couple comments here. So Matt, shooting for 4.5 hours? Probably not on a Sunday.
No, 4.5 hours.
Yeah, I don't do 4.5 hours on a Sunday. That's a Friday thing. Boston Kid, hey, how are you? But the downstream impact's important, but I do think there are going to be some. So for the Gretzky rookie card market, obviously, the lower grade ones were already starting to go up. Like, we were already seeing that. We've been seeing that for a while. So the PSA 10 going for a record amount, not a shocker, not a big surprise. And they do a really good job promoting them. Like, Heritage did a really good job promoting the heck out of that because it's a pop 2. So there's a very good reason for them to promote it. So the fact that it got a great price is going to be notable. Like I said, it made Beckett, and they showed the $1.29 final bid. So it's huge, But the important part, for the Gretzky rookies, I expect there'll be something. So I'll just say, good evening, Paul. But for the Gretzky rookie, I expect that there will be an impact to that. The question, though, that I have, and this is the part that's interesting to me, I don't care about the Gretzky rookie. That's all fine and dandy. The question is the other cards, if we talk about the iconic cards. So like a Lemieux rookie. Do we start seeing those creep up? I think yes. And I actually was watching one that was in a lower condition that I'll show in a minute, that I'm not sure what the last couple sold for. I got to do some more research, but I'm genuinely curious if we're going to see, if we start seeing the Lemieux rookie come up, something like the Yzerman rookie come up, maybe some vintage Gordie Howe cards. If we start, first we're talking the top tier Pantheon guys, right? So if we're talking about skaters, we're talking about Gretzky, we're talking about Lemieux, we're talking about like Gordie Howe, we're talking about like Ziggy Palfy. We're talking about the icons of the sport, like the top tier guys. But then we got to look at the second tier guys. The question is, do the second tier guys start to move? Yzerman rookies, maybe Sakic rookies, Brett Hall rookies. Like, I'm just throwing names out there, but I'm saying whatever you consider to be like that second tier, directly below that top echelon. The question then is, do those start to creep up in price as well? Because then if it does, and we have a trickle down effect that way, well, then it becomes really significant. Then it becomes like a big deal. Is that the impetus to get some movement on those ones? Because the example,
you're referring to Brent Gretzky and Keith, right? That's what. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Because sure. They have a dual card too. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, no doubt. But what I'm saying is, my curiosity is not about what it deals with on the Gretzky side. My question is, what does it do for some of those other guys who were also Hall of Famers, who are also star players, who are also big names.
Yeah.
What does the next Bobby Orr rookie go for? The next Bobby Hall rookie go for? Like guys who have iconic cards in the hobby. What do those go for? Because if they reset new records as well, well, then now we have something to talk about. Now we're
Yeah.
seeing an overall market effect. Then it's a big deal to me. It could be a stepping stone to that. I see no reason why not. But I'm just saying at the moment, until I see some of that trickle down effect, it's hard for me to be like, oh man, this is huge in the hobby. It's like, no, it's a significant sale, but it's not like the be all and end all yet.
It also could be like we need to see what the next iconic, whatever you call the Pantheon card that Golden brings to the table, right?
Exactly.
Our heritage.
Exactly.
So who is that going to be?
Yeah. And then the other piece that's interesting to me. So we're talking about like iconic rookies. So that's one piece. The other piece is, so let's use an example of a market that did shoot up and went crazy and all that. And we know that basketball right now has a lot of the money. Like most of the money is in the basketball side. But when we saw those prices going up in basketball, we didn't just see the Jordan rookie. We didn't just see the big LeBrons. We didn't just see that. We didn't just see the Luka Doncic. We didn't just see that. We saw record prices on Trae Young, record prices on Bol after a scrimmage. Like that's an indicator to me that hobby was exploding when Bol could have a scrimmage and suddenly his cards shoot up.
Yeah.
That's a completely different discussion. Like that's something else. Do you know what I mean?
I'd be interested to see if LaMelo's back behind the back pass increases cards tenfold.
But that's what I'm saying though. That market right now we know is hot. But the indicator is not like LeBron and Michael Jordan, although obviously they're going up. The indicator is look underneath. Kobe went crazy. Those other ones, like some of those other players who were like, oh, we haven't thought of these guys in a while. Some of the vintage guys started to go crazy. Like, when you see that one, the tide did raise, and it raised all the boats. All the boats have been going up.
Yeah.
The question then is if this Gretzky sale can do some of that for hockey. So I need to see like record prices on Dominic Hasek. I need to see record prices on some of these other guys who were great players, but who maybe haven't seen that kind of thing. And using the basketball example, when we were talking about those 90s basketball inserts, the jambalayas and all these Jordan ones were setting records and all this stuff, it wasn't just those. If the Jordan had been going for record prices and every other jambalaya in that year's set in the 90s was like a $5 card, you would have like a disconnect. You'd be like, wait, but we know Jordan's Jordan, but why is that one selling for tens of thousands of dollars and every other jambalaya in that 90 set is like $5?
I think the other thing to look at, Carlos, and it just came to me now. I know we talked about it beforehand, but when Gretzky sold that Honus Wagner, did that inflate other vintage at the time, or did it only have price relative to that Wagner itself?
So that would have been 1991, and if there was any impact on it, it was slow. Like it took a while. Mind you, in 1991, you didn't have social media to spread the word a lot faster. Yeah. So that was certainly impactful. So I'll grab a couple of these comments here. So Boston Kid owns an 81 Topps PSA 9, which again, nice. If what we say is true, that could very well be a big card. So hey to Amish Dave. Good evening to Capital Baseball Cards. Awesome. So 81 has gone through the roof. Yeah. And the thing is right now for the Gretzky cards, I'm not worried about it. I'm looking at some of these other ones. Paul loves the Bol reference. You got to have that. PSA 10 Mario did 45K in the same night, more than 2 times the previous high. Yep. And that was one of the first things I was saying as well, is that I'm not too concerned about it. Like I said, Lemieux, I've already seen even at the lower end. So that's like for a super high end, right? Let me give you a lower end Lemieux rookie here. And I'll actually share this with you guys here. I've got the screenshot here for you. And this just ended tonight. And it was not that long ago. I was keeping an eye on it just because I was curious for that specific reason. I wanted to see. So this one is a PSA 2 Lemieux rookie that just finished tonight. And it was about $376 Canadian for a PSA 2. I haven't been tracking these. Like I said, I was just curious because I saw this was ending tonight. I wanted to see what it would do. It does feel like, it feels like that's a strong price. And by the way, 66 bids, so double bonus on that.
Yeah, that's really crazy, but that's crazy. That's a PSA 2?
That's what I'm saying. It's a PSA 2. Yeah. So I'm not talking about the high end.
I just bought a 4.
Yeah.
For considerably less than that.
But that's what I'm trying to get at, Ameet. So my curiosity was about the downstream impact. So this was an auction that ended tonight, that just ended a couple hours ago. So that's what I'm trying to get at, is that's the downstream impact I'm curious about. That's the part I'm watching. Because if the PSA 2 Lemieux rookies are starting to creep up. Well, that means the 4 is going to start creeping up. The 3, the 5, the 6, the 7. It doesn't just have to be the PSA 10. It's some of these other ones. Then you start going down the chain, right?
Because the affordability factor, right? You have to think
Correct.
about. I cannot afford a Rolls Royce, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go buy a Lada. Yeah, that kind of idea, right? I can afford a car, or it's like a BMW or something like that, right? You buy what you can afford for the status symbol that you can afford yourself to have,
Mm-hmm.
right? There is an unfortunate byproduct that some of this is. It is a bit of a status symbol, right? If you're owning a very high end card is a status symbol, like you can tell in the urban community and hip hop community, like that. This is another accentuation of the same kind of background. So it's argumentative at that point, but I think that's what we're seeing, right? Affordability factor.
But that's to say. So now we watch the Lemieux, even the low grade Lemieux. That's why I say I was very curious about what this one was going to end at. I was watching it when it was about 200 a couple hours ago, and then it doubled towards the end of the bidding to get the 376. That's high, or at least it was high. Now the question is, what happens with the next one? That's what I'm saying. That's the part I'm keeping an eye on. That's my curiosity. That's the part I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Because I want to see then, okay, so let's go beyond Lemieux. Iserman. Let's go like think guys in that tier. Now start looking, the next WA rookie in like a mid or lower tier grade. These are the things that I'm curious about. I got to go beyond Gretzky to see where the impact could be. Gretzky's Gretzky, and that's fine, but I got to see the rest.
The other aspect of it is, and Jeremy brought this up on Sports Card Live. I think he did. Anyways, I could be wrong.
Sure.
Nat Turner bought a. Correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, just tell me. But the insert Jordan he bought was trimmed. I think it was known as a trim card. Can you remind me what that was?
PMG green you're talking about?
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
trimmed.
it was like an authentic. It was altered in some way. It was altered in some way.
He didn't care.
Correct.
He just wanted that card. Right?
It was a scarcity. It was so rare that he didn't care. Yeah.
Right. So if I use the Lemieux as my example that I bought, right, and I bought it because I just wanted it, it's horribly off center.
Yep.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But someone's not going to care. Right.
But
they're not as. Mm-hmm. It's almost like buying a cubic zirconium and a diamond ring. Mm-hmm. On the surface level, if you don't know enough, no one's going to be like, "Oh wow, that's really shiny. That's awesome." Mm-hmm. It's going to be the experts like us that look at it and go, that thing's a little bit off center. So there's less ambiguity and I guess forensic, looking at cards forensically, it's not a word, I'm not sure.
Exactly.
Again, status symbol, but I'm just spitballing.
But that's the key. But these points are the reason. So like I said, the Gretzky is the start of this conversation. The direction I'm looking at is let's go beyond Gretzky for a second. Let's think to these other players. Again, Pantheon guys, and then let's start moving down. And let's see what's happening with those guys. Because if I start seeing some of those 90s stars starting to go up in some of those more limited 90s inserts, then I'm seeing something. Then I am seeing that tide raising those boats. Let me grab a couple of these comments here. So Boston Kid says Gretzky, no debate on who's the goat and Kagi. Absolutely, Bobby Orr. Just kidding. Well, am I? Maybe not.
They're all ice goats.
Yeah, exactly. So Vinny, absolutely. He was, and good evening to Vinny as well. And he did his debut on a live stream on Dave's podcast as well. So Vinny has now made an appearance.
Was that in the hour 7 or hour 8?
I think hour 9 or 10. Something like that. Yeah. So PSA, he's making the point. PSA 7 for this Ruby for Lemieux. Last year 105, this year 300 plus. And yeah. Now the thing though is the key point that I'm making as well is that some of these rookie cards for some of these iconic players have been trending up for a while. So it's like, so we got to see if this is a continuation or if this most recent bit of publicity is also starting to spike them. Again, that PSA 2 Lemieux to me is a very interesting thing because it comes right on the heels.
It's also another way to look at it, Carlos. Oh, if you look at it, you buy a Nintendo Switch. I buy a Switch. Yeah, Nintendo Switch, right? Out of the box, that's $500. You're still paying less than some hardware that's currently available. That's current, like an Apple Watch, right? That's between $300 and $700, right? Mm-hmm. So relatively speaking, it's affordable, right? Mm-hmm. It's still in your mind. You're like, I can afford this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's true. But that right there is the psychology of the market, which I love. I love to look at that. That's why it's important to me to observe how the market is reacting to the other pieces of it, because not everybody can afford to pay for some of those Gretzky rookies, but Lemieux is a pretty good player, but some of them are starting to shift their money over in that direction. So you're seeing that increasing as well. And then as some people get priced out of that, what about Yzerman? What about some of these other guys that are also great players? And you start looking in those directions.
It's
So
like the old school layaway program.
But yeah, exactly. But let's grab this one here. So if you sold your Parfait collection, you could afford to buy the Rolls-Royce company.
Man, my PSA 4 is going to go through the roof.
Bro, it's going to be amazing. And then Barry's
By the way, did you know that there's an 8.5 BGS on ComC? It surfaced recently.
Dude, so why are you telling me this? Why aren't you like...
Because it was $9.99 and I only had $9.97. I'm short 2 cents.
You should have been like, how dare you? You should bid him down. So
it's so iconic. I had to let Barry know. I actually had to call him.
Yeah, exactly.
Barry, did you know there's a Ziggy Palfy 8.5?
Exactly. So here, Boston Kid says lots of money on the sidelines. Yeah, absolutely. Money's still flowing in the hobby. All true. So just Jeremy's comment here as well. I know you don't care about the high end, and I don't, but I still pay attention to it. It's still relevant because I need to see. I need to know what the high end's doing, and then I shift my focus on the low end just to see if it's doing anything to it. A PSA 10 Patrick Waugh sold for $5,000 US yesterday. I'm curious. So is that OPG or Tops though?
It's got to be OPG.
I'm assuming so. $5,000 though, like in the context of what we're talking about now, feels low, don't you think? Like $5,000.
Yeah, I mean,
in context. Again, we're putting it in context, right?
Yes.
I don't know what the pop report is, but that does feel a bit low. So he's also added in about that PMG. So he says PSA authentic altered.
Altered? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I wanted to make sure someone referenced it because I didn't want to speak out of turn on Nat's purchase. But
Yep. And then Boston Kid's latest purchase was a PSA 7, 1970 Pete Rose, $89. I actually think that's a decent price.
I would love to get a Pete Rose. Actually, I'm surprised I don't own one yet.
Yeah. There's some good ones. I like, I still hate the 63, but some of those ones from the 60s are pretty good. I think one of the things we're going to see is not going to trickle down all the way to the level, trickling down to other significant Hall of Famers. It already is.
And the registry. Jeremy brought this up yesterday too on his show. It's actually not just Jeremy. I've heard this from a few other people, including people I know who are on the registry, or not on the registry, but part of the registry. Is as soon as those cards get added, they want that to add to their collection, right?
Yeah. One thing I'll say though about this comment as well, though, I'm not looking for it to go down to that level. I'd love for the Gretzky to be like a one-off, and the rest of the Hall of Famers in that quote unquote lower tier to remain ridiculously cheap, because that would make me laugh. But that would also suggest to me that the hockey card market hasn't really been impacted then, because if those other Hall of Famers really aren't shifting up, again, I'm using the basketball market as an extreme. It's an extreme right now. That's an outlier. But when you saw that tide go up, a lot of boats went up. It wasn't just the obvious. A lot of the other ones were like, wait, that one went up too? So that the question then becomes, do you get a taste of that in the hockey market? If you do, then I think at that point we have to acknowledge that, there's a movement afoot. Otherwise, again, it's a bit of an outlier. It becomes just the Pantheon guys. Yep, they move up, and then everybody else is right around where they were before. Or maybe like single percentage gains, like small incremental movements. At which point it's like, okay, good to know, but then why?
But then again, you have to look at it this way: like slow and steady gains over time would give me more comfort in the health of the product, right? Mm-hmm. I'd rather not. Maybe I'm in a minority, but I wouldn't want to see a lot of the vintage stuff spike and then fall and spike, and I'd rather not see that. I'd rather see a comfortable gain.
No, the thing is, I've been on record repeatedly. I don't care one way or the other. If it goes up, then I adapt myself accordingly. If the whole market crashed 95%, I adapt myself accordingly. Like, it doesn't make any difference to me. But as an observer, it does matter, because I want to pay attention and see where those different indicators are. You want to figure out whatever the canary and the canary in the mine is. You need to be paying attention to that. It can't always be the flashiest thing directly in front of face. You want to pay attention. So Dave just says here, Ameet, that should be in your collection, the 8.5. Come on, man. Be thankful they're on quarter grades.
Don't tempt me. I'm looking at ComC right now.
Yeah. So Vinny just says basketball starts soon. Wonder if the hockey goes back burner quickly. The thing is, it could. And Jeremy just updates on the Waugh. So it was Peachy, and he thinks it's low. I think he thinks it's a $10,000 card, which it very well could be. Like I said, $5,000 in context now, with updated context, that might be low for the OPG for PSA 10 for Waugh. In the goalie side, Waugh is basically a GOAT candidate there. So he would be a guy, and he's popular. So it's not lack of popularity. It's not like nobody knows in hockey who Patrick Waugh is. He's kind of a big deal. So for Vinny, I hate to say it, but it goes in the back burner a bit longer, and that'd be okay with me. Makes no difference to me. Boston Kid says cream of the crop is starting to get gobbled up. I think so. I think that's probably true. So Hall of Famers in 8s, 9s, and 10s, that could very well be. But as we can see, though, Hall of Famers in 2s are starting to creep up as well. So Ameet, that 4, you might be in business.
I just made an offer on,
on the A5.
Yep. I just made an offer.
Nice. All right, hold on. So I gotta grab this here. Okay, so I'm gonna show this here. So I wanted to. I mentioned it to Ameet earlier. So are you ready? Are you ready for an iconic card, Ameet?
Let's do it.
We
Greg
need to do
Jeffries.
an iconic card.
Let's see Greg.
No, we already discussed this. It's not Greg Jeffries. It's got to be in hockey.
I know.
We're
But you
doing
could have
hockey.
been lying to me.
No. I would not lie to you about something this important. I would not lie to you, Ameet.
Oleg Tverdovsky.
You ready for it?
Yes.
Here we go. Come on. You know. The
Actually, you know what? I want that. How much is that?
It cost me $14.
Oh, nice. That's actually a really sexy one. I have a Wendell Clark.
The Atomic Refractor, buddy, at 100. The Atomic Refractor. Come on.
Yeah, I have the Wendell Clark.
I actually offered it down. I think they were asking for 18 or 19, and I offered it down to 14. And they accepted.
That's
it's mine now.
Hold on. Hashtag respect.
I know. There you go. I thought you would appreciate that.
I did. I am actually very proud of you, but I'm honored that you would go to my level of stupidity with this hobby.
Well, in fairness, that is the Atomic Refractor, and that's a sweet parallel.
Yes, I know.
Very different context. That it's like I'm still not getting the rookie, but an Atomic Refractor out of 100. Okay, now we're talking. Now we're talking something. I love the Atomic Refractors anyway.
But that means we have a bond now. We have something. We have something that we can share, and it's an inseparable bond. Like you're glued to my hip, buddy.
Oh, there you go. All right, so Vinny just says, I agree with Ameet. Steady rise over time would be preferable. Yeah, and the thing is, for most collectors, a slow incremental gain is, I think, preferable, just because it means you can keep up. It means you're not forced to like act rashly because, oh my God, the price just doubled over the last week. Because for some people, that's going to force them to do something crazy here. So Cream the Crop is like, well, it's just being discovered right now for the first time. Yeah, that's fair. And I believe this is Rich here. So I think Rich is getting caught up. I mean, do you want to explain to him your relationship to Ziggy Palffy? Could you?
You know what? Let's save that for another episode. But I have directly, subliminally become a Palffy collector. And I'll be honest with you, he was an awesome person for fantasy sports. I've heard a first few people say that. But anyways, yeah, I definitely will save that for a future episode.
Yeah. Well, Dave, you weren't trying hard enough. It was there. It was on sale for like $17, and I talked him down to 14. It wasn't that much money. based on that Gretzky rookie sale, that's at least a $40,000-$50,000 card now. At least. We're talking the icons, man. I already covered this. Gretzky, Lemieux, again, skaters. Gretzky, Lemieux, Gordie Howe, Ziggy Palffy. Mount Rushmore. Come on.
Yeah, man.
You guys got to get on this. Come on, people. I gave you so much time. You guys had opportunities to get cards like this already. I let it sit and I watched it and I saw it today.
Snooze, you lose, right?
Like, I went in and I'm like, guys, that's it. I gave you enough time. It's going to be mine now. It has to be mine now. Sorry.
You know what? I wonder, he must be somewhere. Zygmunt Palffy must be out somewhere going, who the F is this guy? Who is this guy? So if he ever shows up and like wants to be interviewed on our show, we got to get him on. That would be like amazing.
There you go. See, so read this one.
I mean, is a cosmic background radiation in the Palffy universe. Any reference now forever held to Ziggy Palffy will be traced back to me. That's totally cool with me. I'd rather have that be my claim to fame than something really wrong. So I'll take it.
It's like that right there is extremely important. And
especially when it shows up on Jeremy's show, which is a very, highly intelligent show, and someone drops that reference and it's like, and everyone's like, what is that guy talking about? I smile inside. I really do. I get joy.
There's a comment from Jeremy here that's going to be perfect and play right into what I've been talking about already. So first, Dave says, I don't need 1,734 pieces. Yes, you do, Dave. Yes, you do. That's a lie. So here, Jeremy says, I got the exact card in a BGS 9 slab for $12. But what you need to understand here, Jeremy, is I thought we just covered this. The cards are now all going up. So it's $12 for you in BGS 9. It is now $14 raw, which means your card is up to like $40-$50 now, at least.
Oh, hell yeah.
Minimum. Like even before someone discusses it with you, they better be pushing mid 2 figures. before they even have a discussion with you about it. Otherwise, you immediately delete their email, block
No,
them.
I think what Jeremy will do is he'll get that. Actually, this is a bucket list of mine. I don't think I'll ever get it, but when you put your name on the like Ameet's collection on a PSA label, I would love to have that. I would love to have that. Jeremy should do that.
Exactly. But that's the thing. Like the atomic refractors, I've always enjoyed for what they are. So it's one of those things where like not all the players are going to be interesting because there's a couple of different ones on Compsy. But when I saw that one, I chuckled. I was like, "Yep, I think we can make that one happen. Why not?"
It's like if you put it out there, it'll come back to you, buddy.
Absolutely.
Again, he must think like he must got so many SEO hits on YouTube. Like he must not wonder what's going on. He's probably looking for his own highlights, and our videos show up.
Exactly. Just endless references. So Paul here is saying why rookie PSA 10 is pop 86, and Boston Kid is asking the right question. You got to be more specific, Paul. We're talking tops or PG? 86 isn't bad, to be honest, for a PSA 10 pop report.
What's the latest tops? Speaking of a tops Sakic. What did that PSA? There a PSA 10 of that, and what would that go for?
The top Sakic? Oh yeah, I would think so. I don't know what the report is, but they were pretty steady for a while. Again, Sakic would be another guy that I would look at as an indicator of like, okay, I'd be kind of curious to see what his numbers are doing now.
If anything, it'd be a vindication of that junk wax era isn't completely junk, right? You know what I mean? Like that's a vindication of that.
I agree with that. But the other one, so unfortunately, it is way too populous. Like it's just too much. But I would love to see if at some point there is some upward momentum because I feel like I would still love the Yager rookie to go up a little more. Because
I just bought one actually.
What's that?
I just bought one actually.
A 9 or 10?
I bought a 10.
Yeah. What were they going for at that? The one
I paid. I'll tell you what I paid. I think I was telling Jeremy, but I think I paid
because I still think they're pretty fairly priced.
It was under 100. I know that.
That's a fair price. I wouldn't complain about that at all.
I paid 75.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And Yago is pretty decent, I would say.
I bought the upper deck one, the one where he's shaking hands with the GM.
Oh, the upper deck one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was thinking the O-Picture Premier.
I think so. Yeah, he's going to the hall for sure.
Oh, that part I'm not concerned about. But for me, it's almost like there was a period of time where the only guys for stretch of time that won scoring titles was Lemieux, Gretzky, and Yager. So it's like I feel like that's worth something to me, in my opinion.
Wasn't he consistently a 100-point season player?
For the early part of his career, especially. Then he kind of got disinterested after a while. But then he randomly came back and was still like pretty good when he came back. But he took all those years off, and he would have been a 2,000-point guy if he had like cared.
So you know what's hilarious? So I went to just a complete segue, and it just reminded me. I went to a buddy's wedding in Winnipeg. First of all, Winnipeg is one of my favorite places to party. I love that place. Anyways, my buddy had a wedding in Winnipeg, and I guess there's a hotel downtown Winnipeg, and I can't remember. I think it's a Fairmont. And I do not remember who Yager was playing for those days. I don't remember what he was playing for. But anyway, he was in the elevator. The whole elevator on the way up. I'm like, do I say anything or not say anything? Do I say anything? Not say anything. So finally at the very end, he's leaving. I'm like, and I interrupt him as he's leaving the elevator. I'm like, have a good career. And I looked at myself, and it's one of those glass elevators. I looked at myself, and I'm like, Did I just say have a good career? I'm like, of all the idiotic things to say, that's what came out of my mouth instead of like have a good game. Anyway, he just looked at me.
Today, at least, you would have a much easier icebreaker. Hi, I'm Ameet, Ziggy Puffy Super Collector.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with him, but at least it'd be like, so you're the guy.
I'm just Ziggy Puffy Super Collector with 2 cards.
Dude, like your passion makes up for a lot, Ameet.
2 cards.
Passion makes up for a lot.
Sorry, I have to do it this way, right? This maybe taking the wrong.
We already had this discussion on Super Collector, Ameet. The important part is your passion. The important part is the consistent effort.
Sorry, it's Stupor Collector. Sorry, I made the T in there. I apologize.
Exactly. So Boston Kid's just saying the thing is, Boston Kid, in every era where prices go up, everybody's like, "Oh, I wish there was a time machine," and then the next time prices go up again, we'll say the same thing again. It's the way it works. 6 years in the Czech League, yeah. And Yager will always be the great enigma for me, though. Like I say this in all seriousness, Yager is the ultimate enigma to me, and it's the unfortunate thing because later in his career, he suddenly developed this ridiculous work ethic. He became this workout warrior. And all of a sudden he was like, he just came back and wanted to play hockey at the highest level. And even though he was like in his 40s, and he's like, okay, so you know what? In late 30s and early 40s, he's like, all right, you know what? Forget it. I want to play like until I'm 50 now. And I'm like, where were you in your 30s? In your 20s, you were killing it, winning these scoring titles and doing all this stuff. And then in your 30s, you just like stopped caring for a while, and you were still really good. And then you came back and were still really good, but now you're in your late 30s, early 40s. And like his career continued for quite a while. He played until he was 45.
He didn't do so well in Washington.
Sure. Well, that's the thing was like he had this big payday, but he just kind of stopped caring for a while. But he could still do this. Like he could still play at that level because he could flip it on and off. But you just have to think with Jágr not caring for basically a decade, and he was still nearly a 2,000 point guy, nearly an 800 goal guy. If he had actually cared the whole time, he would probably be the goal scoring leader. Points is probably out of reach, I would say comfortably, but the goal scoring leader would have been he had as good a shot as
anyone. He still has 1,921 points in 1,733 games. He's over a point a game.
Yes, and comfortably for a lot of games. We're not talking about like a couple of games. It's a lot. And
surprisingly, I value assists more than goals. I know everyone likes goal scorers. I appreciate assists. Mm-hmm. He had 1,155 assists and only 766 goals.
Well, only 766
goals. Only 766 goals. That's it. That wasn't enough. He got 765 more than I ever will.
There you go.
Mind you, I never went to the NHL, so he actually has 766 goals, more than I do.
I was gonna say, but I mean, you could crash the goaltender and try for one. See if you could just like.
I don't even think I could skate to the blue line before the puck rush to the other end.
Yeah, but like I said, he is still an enigma to me because as great as he was, because he was one of those guys who could do it for a long time. He wasn't motivated the entire time, which makes it unfortunate because you look at these career numbers and I'm like, you're already one of the greatest of all time as it is, numerically and statistically, but you could have been like literally you and Gretzky. It could have been basically like you two.
You know what? He's had his penalty minutes are insane. He's averaging he had 1,167 penalty minutes in his 733 games. So just under a point penalty minute a game.
Well, not quite as aggressive as you are on your rookie card, but at least he did a decent work.
He took 5,637 shots.
Of course. Yeah. Let me grab a couple comments here. So Sakic PSA 10 is pop 17. That's actually pretty good for the top Sakic. That's pretty low, man. Last three have sold for 24 to 2,300 USD. And Sakic was a great player for a long time. So Jeremy agrees on Jágr. Dave says, don't be so modest, Ameet. Come on. Your super collecting is not to be underplayed.
Super collector.
Bobby Burrell is here. Good evening, Bobby. He got the knickknacks on Friday. That's important. Yeah. So Vinny saw him in his full glory in the late 90s Pittsburgh. The thing is, he was really good.
Oh, he was amazing.
In the 90s, Jágr was ridiculous.
That's the reason why I got a mullet in high school, man. Let's be real.
Fascinating. Good to know. So Jeremy says, Ameet, when you start your own show, you should just call it the Ziggy Palfy Show.
The ZP show.
Well, the thing is, there is precedent for this already. There's a guy, his name escapes me. I totally forget it. But it's like the Lucas Show, or they calls it the Lucky Show, something like that. He's a Luka Doncic fan. He buys a lot of Luka Doncic cards. But he basically does it. And on his show, he uses like his iPad to like put graphics on the screen. So they're like hand-drawn graphics on the screen.
Really?
Like, yeah. It's hilarious. I'll find the link and I'll send it to you. It's hilarious.
Yeah, do that. I mean,
he takes himself very seriously, Ameet, with those like hand-drawn graphics. Let me tell you.
You know, it's funny because every time I used to say his name when I was younger, Zygmunt, I always think of Freud.
Yeah.
Sigmund Freud. Anyways, sorry, this is completely way off topic. And let's go back to what the hell we were talking about. I forgot.
Yeah, so we were talking about some of these underrated like 90s guys. And the question is whether they start bumping up as kind of a consequence. Again,
Mark Savard.
I wouldn't be the thing for me is there are going to be fans of a lot of these players, like local fans for a lot of these different players. But the question is going to be, that's always been there. The question is, do some of these guys start getting a second look? As I said, I'm using the basketball example as the most extreme. All I'm saying, though, is if some of these guys start getting, people started, like I said, Kobe was a great player when he retired, but then he got a second lease on life. Obviously, when he passed away, that gave him a second lease on life. But then as Jordan started elevating, as LeBron started elevating. It was a pun.
A very poor pun.
I can live with it.
Very poor.
I can live with it.
Bad taste. But anyway.
Yeah, you notice I said I can live with it. Anyway, so like I
Did
said,
I lose you, Carlos? Yeah,
no, I can
Am
hear
I
you.
live?
Yeah.
I have no idea if I'm live. I should probably run the YouTube channel to see what's going on here.
Well, I can hear you. I don't know if anybody else can hear you.
I can. Well, I don't know what happened there, dude.
Yeah. So anyway, all I'm saying is that so it's Kobe got his attention, and then some of the other guys got their attention. Some you started looking at a couple of Jordan's contemporaries. Some of them started getting a boost. Some of them was because of the Last Dance, of course, but there were some other players that also got a boost at the same time. So a lot of these different guys got a boost.
By the way, I'll take it back. I for some reason had in my head I thought Mark Savard was a 100-point-a-year player, but he was good, but he wasn't quite 100 points.
Yeah, I think you have to look at a lot of those guys. Basically, if you want to know the guys that I'm talking about, look at the basically just go to like the top all-time point and goal scorers. Just look at those guys. Just the ones who were consistently there and were great all the time. It doesn't have, like I said, it doesn't have to be Gretzky, but look who was consistently right there with him points wise or goals wise.
So Gretzky, Howe, Jagger.
Yep, those would be guys that definitely would be there. And also look
Brett
at fan
Hull.
favorites. Look at fan favorites that were also great. Like Solani was great for a long time. He would be a guy. Yeah, there's some great players there.
Oh, I didn't know Messier's up there. Eiserman's 10th.
Of course. Absolutely.
Lemieux's 11th. Holy cow, I had no idea.
Well, don't forget he retired for 3 years, had cancer.
Okay,
minor details, small things. So he lost a lot of time. But the thing with Lemieux is that he was 0.75 goals a game average for his career, which is like monstrous. So, and 690 goals for that.
It's interesting how like Mike Gartner is like relatively modern, right? Modern top goal scorers. You got Gretzky, Jagger, Hull, Gartner, Ovechkin, Messier. Interesting.
Now, one other trivia note. I've mentioned it before for sure, but I will say one other thing. When you're looking at Ovechkin there, remember one thing. And this is the reason why I'm bullish on Ovechkin as well. Ovechkin is the only guy, if you look at that list and scroll through it and then look at the guy's career years and stuff, Ovechkin is basically the only guy who didn't play in some part of the 70s, the 80s, or the 90s. He started in 2005. He's the only guy in that top goal scoring category who didn't play in one of those decades, at least some part of his career in one of those decades. Because the 70s was pretty high scoring. The 80s was super high scoring. The early 90s, before the trap really took effect, was still pretty high scoring. Because one stat I looked up earlier yesterday that I saw that was kind of a cool stat, 92-93. There were 21 100-point people in 92-93. 21. The last decade of hockey, there have been 19.
Oh, I don't not believe that. Sorry, I do. Yeah. It's been tough, right?
It's not the same. We're not playing the same. There are still guys. The top guys can still get their points, but it's not like it was. It's just not. So you're not going to get the video game numbers. So an Ovechkin who puts up video game numbers as a goal scorer who distanced himself. The only guy you can compare him to as a contemporary, the only fair guy to compare him to right now is Crosby. And Crosby is pretty great. 460 goals. Ovechkin is 700. They're the only two guys who are contemporaries to each other. And Crosby, by the way, won 3 Stanley Cups, and he's got all this, the golden goal. He's got all this stuff going for him. And
if Ovechkin plays arguably 3 more years, right? He averages 50 goals a year.
Yeah.
So let's say he gets 858. He's not that far from Gretzky. Like he could do it.
He's got an outside. That's the thing. He's the only guy that I can think of who coming down the pipeline who's got even an outside shot. A lot of things have to go right for him, but he's the only guy who's even got a shot.
See, that's the other thing I've been wondering for the last little while. I've asked this a few times: is when does Crosby and Ovechkin hang it up? Like what would Gretzky obviously hung it up in '99, right? But what would it take for Ovechkin and Crosby? Because they're both producing amazing points, right? They're not slowing down.
I think for Ovechkin, I think in the back of his mind, I think he's talked about in interviews. I think he would really love to take a real run at the goal scoring record. I think in his mind, because technically he could retire already. He's got the Stanley Cup. He's got tons of goals. He's got all as much stuff as he can do. He could try to win a couple more Stanley Cups. They may have a shot. They may not have a shot. But the only real feather in his cap. Imagine if he did become the all-time goal scoring guy.
I like the player. I love him as a player. Yeah. He hits. He's a very terrible fighter, but he hits. He grinds it out.
Yep.
He's fun to listen to.
Mhm.
I would not be upset if he broke Gretzky's record. At the
I don't think
same time,
I don't think a lot of people would be. I think
but
it's let's put it this way. For the Gretzky purists, and Jeremy's already said he wouldn't mind, even as a Gretzky fan, he wouldn't mind if Ovechkin broke that record. I don't
yeah,
think too many people would mind because you know what? If you want to, put Gretzky on the pedestal, he'll have the points record. It's not going anywhere. Like the
yeah,
points record's too far. It's out of reach for everybody. The way the game is played today, no one's got a shot. Nobody's got a shot. So the goal scoring record is the only mountain that anybody has a shot at climbing. It's the only one.
yeah. I love
And
that Jagger. I love that Jagger ended on 766
yeah,
goals. I love that he ended on that.
but he was number 68.
Yeah, but 66 Lemieux. That's
No,
what I'm trying to go
that's
with.
fair. That's
Go
fair.
with my goddamn reference there, Carlos.
I was like close. 768 would have been better, but 766
I'm
is
not.
decent.
I'm not quite sure what to do with the 894 for Gretzky. I'm trying to really pull teeth to figure out what relevance that is for anything.
All right, let me grab a couple of these comments here. So Vinny was just saying that for Yager, it was him and Straka, absolutely. And then Francis, Bossy, Trottier. Yeah, the thing is, there's a lot of great players who are in the tier. So Dave has a suggestion for you. You can call it A to Z, Ameet to Ziggy. It can be reference to your 2 Ziggy PC cards. Mind you, if you win your offer, would the 8.5 be a third?
That
So
would
if you
be a
win the
third.
8.5,
Yeah.
that would be a third, yeah.
But
Or
that would
Ameet-
totally screw up the entire run of the channel.
the second piece covers it. Ameet giving
Oh,
Ziggy
oh,
an
I
assist.
got a counter. I got a counter.
Wasn't it like $110 to begin with?
Wow,
Why are
he
you
countered at $8.50.
How dare he? How
Man.
dare he?
I thought my $6.90 was totally on par.
Oh, come on. As a super collector, you got to do better than that.
Okay, let's ask the crowd what 88 that's yeah. What should my next offer be? Let's ask the crowd. What
So
offer
what was your previous offer? Sorry, what was your previous offer?
$6.50.
So from $6.50. Nice.
How
Okay,
many strikes am I gonna have?
let me grab a couple of comments here while you're doing that. So Dominus Dominator's post he made on Instagram, Lemieux, Francis Yager, 429 points between the 3 and 1 year. Yeah, the thing is, the Penguins had dynamic offensive talent. Great.
Well, he wasn't called Ronnie Franchise for no reason.
Exactly. Ovechkin was talking about playing a year or two for Dynamo at the end. The thing is, he could. I think Paul. Like I'm very serious when I say this. It'll depend on how it. Again, he said it in an interview before. Again, take it with a grain of salt. Take it with a grain of salt, because he is still almost 200 goals away. He's like 191 goals away. I'm just throwing out a number, but it's going to be tough. It's going to basically, and this season is going to be shortened. So I think it's only like 55, 56 games, something like that. So I think Paul mentioned here. I'll get to it in a second. So if Ovechkin's serious and he really wants to try for it, he's probably going to have to play 4 or 5 more years. Unless he goes out and like has another 50 goal season and goes absolutely nuts, that could help a lot. He could do it, but he's going to have to stick it out. It's not going to be a 1 or 2 year thing. He's going to have to stick it out for a couple more years.
He needs to have a lunch date with Brett Hull and just learn where that perfect spot.
Yeah, Brett Hull became a master at that at the end of his career.
The fall to your knee and Ernie Witt style goal scoring. Like he needs to go to see Brett Hull.
Yeah. So Ovechkin is a UFA after the season. He can play with Crosby if he chooses. You know what? That might not be a terrible idea. Get the assist from Crosby. Why not?
He did say he would love to try and play in Montreal. He thought it'd be cool.
Yeah, so Jeff here makes the point as well. One other thing, kind of with the interesting thing with the Ovechkin, and again, you have no control over what happens with your career timeline. It's luck of the draw a little bit. There's a little bit to it. Ovechkin has lost almost 2 full seasons due to lockouts and pandemic. Otherwise, he'd be a lock to catch Gretzky, and that's true. 2 seasons, that's huge. That's a big loss in goals because right now he's still scoring at a prodigious clip. Losing 2 years, kind of in the middle of what you do, it's kind of a big deal.
Kind of like what would Muhammad Ali done if he was not out, right? What would Elvis Presley recorded if they were not out, right? There's very famous
There's always great what ifs, right? There's always great what ifs. So
if I take 3 weeks off of YouTube, what could have happened?
Dude, I don't even want to imagine that world. I can't even.
Can you imagine I took 2 weeks off YouTube? Man, I could have had
a prodigious producer like yourself. That the platform might collapse. It might collapse.
Content is subliminally king.
No doubt, without question. So Paul's suggestion is 651. I don't think it'll let you do that. Richie says 703 and Dave says 755.
I just did 703. Let's just see.
703. So good evening to Brian. So right here, Dave Archer. So, and does Ovechkin's value have any long-term uptick if he finishes his career entirely in Washington? I don't think finishing career in Washington necessarily affects it, unless like people in Washington go nuts buying his cards. I think his cards are going up anyway.
Yeah,
Like I made a mistake because I don't know if you remember me. I think it was you that I was talking to at a previous expo when we were doing the live expos. I was kicking around the idea of buying the Ovechkin Young Guns, and I should have because I had a chance to buy some at like 450 or even just under 500. Like I kind of should have. I should have gone for it at that time. Because
you know what? Another thing why I would love for him to beat Gretzky's record, I mean this from a diversity perspective, just on a serious note here.
Sure.
It would eliminate this entire BS about how people feel about European or Russian hockey players. Like, I want him to win that title and hold it and grab it because I want to stick it in everyone's face. Like, you know what? Get rid of your prejudice, and I'm one of the best, and for a reason, right?
But I also think his personality, to your point from before, I think that'd be huge to bridging the gap.
Yeah,
because it's like he's a fun player to watch. He plays a fun style of hockey. You can enjoy watching what he does.
Yeah, him and Solani would make a great TV show.
Yeah, and the thing is, like I say this seriously, just so everybody has the context, you're not going to see this again for a while. There's nobody coming down the pipeline that can score like he did, because he's already 15 years in.
Yeah, I think McDavid is already proven. I think I'm going to go out on a limb, and I don't know why, but I think Matthews will be around for a while. I think he's going to.
But think of the consistency with scoring, Ameet, though. Think of the consistency, because the amount of 50-goal seasons.
I know, but I think there's potential with Eichel, and I think potential with Matthews and McDavid.
Potential, possibly, but I'm just saying, like, this past season to me, just think about it this way. Ovechkin has already missed twice. This past season was his second time that he was right on the cusp of 50 goals. He's gotten so close to tying the record for 50-goal seasons. He had 1 year with 49. Yeah. This past year he had 48. Just and it's because of a pandemic. He would have gotten to 50 this year and tied it.
Yeah.
Like he would have been tied. So he's sitting there going like, what do I have to do? Like, I'm right there.
He's like, the stick is on fire. The stick is on fire.
Give me a couple of more games and I can do what I need to do. Just give me a couple more games. We're right at the end here. Yeah. So Steve is the mountain peak of hockey information knowledge. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Yeah. Yeah. Not Brian Bellows. I like the reference from the heavens. Yes. We always have to talk about the oracle of hockey knowledge, Steve, without question. But like I said, I would genuinely, I'm going to have to bite the bullet at some point, just buy the stupid Young Gun, because I want to make sure I have it. Because like I said, I don't think anybody coming down the, even if, like I said, Matthews or those guys do it, it's going to take a while. It's not like in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. We'll talk again on this in 10 years. It's going to take a while.
I'm glad I got my Ovechkin. I've always liked him as a player. I've always liked him. I'm glad I got my Young Guns. I remember buying it when there was a point in time where his Young Gun was not very high. I think it was around $100. And I remember buying it around then. And I'm just going to buy it, just keep it.
Yeah. And as it turns out, a tremendous buy. It made a lot of sense. That's the thing, though, is that you have to look at some of those guys and be like, so just so you guys know, when you see a once-in-a-generation player, and there aren't too many of those, like I said, Crosby and Ovechkin are both those types of players. There aren't a lot of them, though. They don't come around all the time.
Crosby is, from a brand perspective, is perfect. He doesn't skate outside the line. Sorry, that was a pun. He doesn't stray too far outside the box. I'll use that. He says the right thing. He's as dry as toast, but beautifully so. So I hope he stays.
Beautifully so.
No, I'm serious. If he stays as dry as toast for the rest of his career and he doesn't do anything wrong with his life, it'll be amazing. Ovi, complete opposite, but as long as he doesn't go kill anybody, like he'll be perfect, right? McDavid, another one, is really good at his brand. McDavid and Crosby must have the same book. How do you do tonight?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I'll grab a comment in a second. So unfortunately, like I have two Ovechkin. I do have a Victory Ovechkin, and then I have I like the Fleer Ultra. I'm a fan of that
one. Actually,
I think that's a cool one.
Yeah, I just bought one.
Yeah, I think I picked up. If memory serves me, I picked this one up at the last expo that was in person, and I was like, all right, I need to get my hands on this guy because I wanted to make sure I had it in my possession.
Look how young he is in that picture. My favorite thing, Ovechkin has. He's really weathered. He's got that weathered fisherman's look. But if you look when he's younger, It's like, wow, like he really looks young there.
And that's the thing. But that's what I'm saying. Like, as great as he's been, as consistent as he's been, as well as he's done, it's taken 15 years to get to the stage. He is a 700 goal guy. They don't grow on trees. And we haven't seen one legitimately in a generation because most of the guys that were doing that started in the 80s and in the 70s. What's the score?
10-3 Buffalo. Sorry, 9-3 Buffalo.
What's the what
interception?
What quarter?
They had an interception.
What quarter are they in?
Oh, second. 52 seconds left.
Okay, that's not too bad. So let me make sure I get these comments. I mean, this is important. So Steve graces us with his presence as the hockey oracle. He says it never fails. I come in here and nothing but blasphemy. Steve, we are only applauding your hockey knowledge. We would never blaspheme to the hockey oracle.
Is he a Bronco? Oh, is that sorry, Broncos fan? That's the guy that does a podcast with.
He's the one. He's the one who does a podcast with Dave, who's the Terrell Davis.
The cigarette smoking foul mouth guy. Is that him?
Yes. Yes.
Now I know who he is.
That's a fair description. Yes.
Yeah.
So David, I need to bring. So Vinny says, David, I need to bring the fourth one. Yes. Yes. And Steve says, didn't your parents teach you not to lie? Mine didn't, clearly, but they did. But my dad did teach us to bust stones at my friends. Yeah, that's fair. It must always be said all the time. But
Don't
that's
they live right next to each other's farm in Duluth.
Well, Steve's in Texas, I'm pretty sure.
I know. I'm being an ass.
Good job, Ameet. But think about how much. Mileage we got off of that Gretzky topic, though.
Yeah,
I wasn't worried about it. I told you. I
wasn't worried about it either. I just hadn't thought about it, right? And I had a couple of points which I never brought up.
But if you remember, I said there was a lot of room to play off of it. The Gretzky topic was the starting point, and then you can go from there.
You can count on me to go on segues that make no sense. Well, I did that anyways. We actually have quite a few things, but we can save that for another conversation. We don't have to get into it now.
Yeah, there's a couple here that I do want to touch on, though, so we'll definitely get into one of those. But I think the bottom line here for me is that let's keep an eye on some of those other guys. Like I said, Lemieux, we're seeing the movement. We can definitely see it definitively. I await when that Ziggy Puffy atomic refractor is like tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. It goes for basically the same as the PMG Jordan, right in that same ballpark.
This guy's not budging off $8.50.
This is for what, the 8.5?
Yeah, like it's friggin' Ziggy Puffy.
It's $1 a point. Ameet, it's $1 a point. Come on.
Oh, come on. It cost him $40 to get this thing graded.
Well, then give him a break. Don't make him completely cut his losses.
It doesn't even have. It's so old. It doesn't even have subgrades.
Give him his $8. Come on, man.
No, he wants $8.50. No.
All right. So I'm gonna grab a couple comments. So Steve says, "Wow, love you, Steve." And Dave says, "If Steve is foul mouth, I hate to think what Ameet thinks of me." So what do you think of Dave, Ameet?
Dave, what do you think the mushroom cloud is all I need.
That's all you need? Okay.
Yeah, and I think he's a fine speck of a human being, and I can't wait to do a YouTube stream with him. And I'll be honest with you, Dave, I've gotten through about 13 minutes and 8 seconds of one of your streams. I'm going to get through 20 minutes at one point.
13 minutes, really, in 8 seconds?
Well, it's funny because I don't know which one it was, but I was waiting for him to get to the topic, and I don't think it ever got to the topic.
Oh my God, Ameet, you basically have to get past the first hour.
I literally was like, pause, and I'll come back to it. And I'm like, Amish Dave, I owe you. Oh, by the way, Dave, I need your address. I have to send you your through the mail card that you asked me for.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. So that's
Dave,
a good callback.
This is coming to you. You have to give me your address.
Use Instagram. Yeah, if you message them.
Oh yeah. Okay,
that'd probably be the easiest way.
Yeah,
that'd be my suggestion. No, that's all fair. I like it. Okay, so let me grab a couple of these things. So, by the way, guys, as much fun as we've been having. If you have any questions, obviously we've had a lot of comments. That's no question. Okay, Ameet, I'll give you the topics we had here, and you can pick which one's your favorite. We can go from your favorite. Regret is really open-ended. I don't mind it, but I'm more than willing to go to it at a different time. Price of hobby wax is fun. I like that one. The Star Stock one, or there was a Gary V tweet you wanted to talk about. So that doesn't sound like it would take too long. We can definitely do that one quickly if you want.
The Gary V tweet, I think that I was referring to was the one where he's like, the hobby basketball will be on fire. And within
which is kind of redundant since it is kind of on fire, but I guess he means more on fire. But let me play off of this though. I now know the one you're talking about. I wasn't sure what tweet you were referring to, but now that you mentioned it, I know what you're talking about. But let me ask you a question. The Gary V thing has always been interesting to me because I understand it, people don't want to put more fuel to the fire. I get that. I totally get it. But then my question is, all right, so let's say you're a high profile person, you know, somebody that at least is known, that has a social media following, whatever. Is the whole idea that you're not allowed to tweet an opinion because everyone's just going to assume you're doing it for your own benefit, but you're not allowed to have an opinion on the social media where everybody has an opinion?
Are you saying, so ask it a different way. Are you saying that
what I'm getting at is I understand why people are disturbed every time he tweets something or does whatever, because they assume there's an ulterior motive. That's the assumption, which is fine. That's okay. But
that actually wasn't what I was concerned about?
Okay, what are you concerned about?
What I'm concerned about is people use that as a launch pad to try and fleece his tweet for their own gain, right? Like, he makes a generic comment, but if you go through this feed, it's like, Bulbul, go buy Bulbul. Like, there's all this like misinformation out there.
That's
and
right.
It's like,
Yeah.
I want people to like do a little bit of research and understand what it is they're looking at and buy it smartly. I know the hobby's hot and I want everyone to think about it. And I'm pretty sure Gary Vee will say the exact same thing. He'll like, go do your research and buy the right card, but don't use. I just don't like how people are using his positivity and his messaging to be positive to influence a negative reaction by a negative sale for the wrong reasons, right? And there's tons of people out there. I'm just stating my opinion on that. I actually had no problem with his tweet.
Yeah, that's fine. But let me throw this at you a different way. Let's assume, for the sake of argument, let me be devil's advocate here for a second. Let's assume he did have nefarious motives, like he's doing it to bolster his holdings and increase their value.
Yeah,
he has money from other businesses, so in relative terms, who cares? Also,
agree.
As a collector / investor / whatever you consider yourself to be, that's part of the game. If people promote something and increase it, because people are obsessed, like literally obsessed. Oh, but they're pumping and dumping. It's like, well, then don't buy it, or do buy it, or sell it, or do something. React.
Why do you think I talk about Zig and Palfy? I'm using my hobby clout on YouTube to drive up the market.
Exactly. Agreed. But at least you're transparent about it, Ameet. I think that's why people expect it.
I'm fully transparent. I think Zygmunt Palfy cards are going to be on fire this year.
Dude, I already told you. I'm literally ready
and it
to
might be on fire because someone needs to burn at least 2,000 of them to increase the value of them. So,
why do you think I went for the atomic refractor? That's out of 100, Ameet.
Yeah, but if you set fire to that, Amish Dave's going to cry.
As he should, because I would cry desecrating a relic from a goat.
Like an ice goat. Remember, it's an ice goat. But you have to.
Let me quickly grab this comment, Ameet. Just 1 second. So it says, Kin is poking his head in to say hello. Hello, Kin. Hope you're doing well as well. Go ahead, Ameet. I wanted to at least say hello. Since
Amish Dave will be following those arrows at the grocery store and banging his head against something frozen head of ice cream after my comment.
No question.
You may wait and watch 4 hours of a stream and not ever see a topic we're supposed to discuss. Like,
now,
dude,
Steve disputes
why?
this.
That's like a documentary of nothing. Like, you gotta. We always discuss the topic. Okay, so which topic is it? The fact that
so here's the thing. Let me explain to me. Let me explain. So here's the thing. There's the title that the video has. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the theoretical topic. Okay. Let's call it the theoretical topic in quotation marks. Then there's the actual topic. The podcast is a podcast about stuff and things and stuff. If you consider it as a topic about stuff and things, then they hit the nail on the head pretty much every episode.
Well, is it okay? That's fine, but is it stuff and things Seinfeld-esque?
It might be. It really is dependent on your interpretation.
It is or it isn't.
I mean, it's like abstract art. It's like, what do you see when you look at it? Or like a Rorschach test. What do you see when you look at it?
I do abstract art, and I don't know what anyone sees in it, but that's a different story.
But see, here, Dave helps you out. He just says topics.
Examples such as.
Well, there's a lot of examples. They talked about chicken sandwiches in the most recent one.
I know there's also, you guys do a lot of wrestling talks. I know that. Which, don't laugh at me. I don't know what happened, but you
watched some wrestling?
I actually bought WWE Chrome blasters from Walmart.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa! Yeah,
I know. I don't know.
That's serious business. That and your addiction to wax.
I thought it was something else, but no, I had.
So when you saw the professional wrestler on the box, you thought it was something else.
I was like, Hulk Hogan. Let's see.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was bored, man.
Paul here has the right comment here. Ameet, acknowledge that comment. I think it's a valid point he's making.
Wow, this person's not writing me back right now, so let's see what happens.
Love it. So 3B Collection, good evening to you. Thanks for joining in. So let's talk. So let's quickly put a button on this one. I'm generally of the opinion that if you talk about an influencer, somebody, whatever, look, they can tweet about whatever they want. Like, now, if you don't like it, that's cool. I get it. But the thing is, like, it's really not your business what they tweet about. Now,
100%.
like if you think they have ulterior motives, well, then react accordingly. Like, honestly, respond accordingly. If you have what they're promoting, then sell it. Or if you're buying what they promote, don't buy it at that time. Like,
I think I'm being a bit naive in a sense that, and it's not naive. I always want to think the better of people in general. And I just hate how people will take something someone says and then like use it for nefarious means. But that's not new.
Yeah.
People do it all the time.
Exactly. But that's the thing. Like, even if you take it at its worst possible context, again, that's really not your problem. You need to respond to it accordingly. If you genuinely believe this to be the case, that's fine. But then you need to respond to it. I want to put some of the responsibility back on you as the collector / investor / whatever. At a certain point, you have to take some responsibility.
Yeah, but it's not sometimes there's battles I will fight, and that's not the ones I choose to fight on a day-to-day basis.
No, I'm referring to the people who get upset about this, Ameet. I'm saying, like, if it worries you so much, then take some responsibility. And if you think something's being hyped up, don't buy into it.
I agree. My way of paying back to the community, if somebody were to ask me an honest opinion, and I will give my honest opinion. I was previously so vague. We've discussed a variable hodgepodge of ideas, topics, and talking points.
Does that help? I feel that clarifies.
Okay, all right, Dave. How about this? Let me guest on one of your shows, and then I'll just see how long I last before my head implodes.
Dave, seriously, if you do this, you had better invite me to the damn show, or you are disowned. I will find a way to delete your channel. I don't know how. I will find a way to delete it if you do not put me on this podcast.
I will come to Duluth to see if there's any other brown people there.
He's from Ely. Where are you getting?
Ely? Why did I say Duluth then?
I don't know.
You know why? I know why. And I think I may have misread this. I think Dave had an accident, almost had a near miss accident with
that I think is correct. That sounds right to me.
That was from Duluth. So Dave, all things aside, I'm glad you're safe. So that's probably where I got the Duluth comment from. But Ely, I have to go see if there's an Indian restaurant there. I'm sure there is one. There's one everywhere. So I got to go check that out. And then I'm going to come see there's more of my people there. I'll come.
It would make me so happy if you went on this podcast.
I will go on this podcast. I got to figure out what the hell is going on. Is it like one of those choose your own adventure types?
The great part is after you go on, here's the best part. You try your best to derail the conversation. The problem is, how are you going to derail the conversation when the conversation is derailed from the get-go?
But then
no conversation to derail.
My whole thing is derail.
But that's going to be the name. The only way you can derail is to put it on topic.
No. Yes.
That's the only way. You have to counteract what's already happened.
Jeez. Wow. There goes my whole stick.
That's going to completely mess with you.
My whole stick.
It's like literally the opposite of what
I'm the one that's going to bring organization to your show. That is awesome.
You need to come with spreadsheets, and you need to come with a format, and you need to put it on a Google sheet for everybody to read off of.
Wait a minute, but if there's like do they take smoke breaks on their clip? Do I have to smoke to come onto your channel?
Well, Dave doesn't really smoke on the podcast. I know Steve does, but he keeps talking while he's smoking. Like he takes the laptop with him. So like there's really no break.
Okay.
It's continuous, yeah. It's about a 4-hour live stream on average.
All right, you know what? Maybe one day. Ely is 30 minutes from a casino. Ouch. I shouldn't be laughing at that. That's off record. That's not nice. I meant Indian as an East Indian. I'm an East Indian. Anyway, that's a different story. But can you please strike this from the record? This should not go live.
Yeah, I will totally strike this from the live.
Yeah, this is
without a doubt. Without a doubt.
This is not cool. But sorry, what's not cool? That was not cool. But what's cool is I'm going to join your show one day.
Like I said, Dave, you know what needs to happen. If this occurs, I swear to God, I swear, just telling you.
I'll go on. I want to see how long.
I know you'll go on, but I'm saying I want to be there. I'm just saying I want to be, even if it's just to observe and take notes. I want to be there. I need to be there to document these events.
But you've watched the shows, man.
I do. No,
So
but I
you know
need to be.
what's
I
going
need
on.
to be on there because eventually, when you reverse polarity and try to figure out like, so am I trying to bring us on topic? Am I trying to bring us off topic? Is this a vortex? Where am I? What's going on?
This
I
is
need to be on that
you know
broadcast.
what? This is a crazy ass trailer for their show. So
Yes.
the all 9 people that are watching us, you're gonna
Try,
gain an extra subscriber
try
to
20.
your show, Dave.
20.
20. Wow, we hit 20 today.
We're 20 right now. Yeah.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah. Some of them
Anyway,
are chatting. Some of them are not. Some of them are observing in awe right now. They're observing in
we
awe.
were like, what are these guys on?
There you go. That's absolutely right. Ameet, you know what needs to happen now. We can have an entire segment on Ziggy. There we live the dream. Dare we live the dream.
You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. So over the holidays, let's do a stream. I'll jump on,
There you go.
and hopefully you guys don't sink my YouTube career.
Well, I think that's Ameet, you're as unsinkable as the Titanic.
Thanks, son.
Anytime I can do. Anytime I can help. All right, so I think that's good with that one. You want to do the hobby wax or the star stock?
Let's do the hobby wax. We can do anytime.
Okay.
That's not. But Star Stock is interesting because, well, it's not.
Of who's
it's old
involved?
news.
Of who's involved?
So Karvin Durant, right, is now investing in it. So, and we mentioned this before, and you and I, unfortunately, we talked about this. And the reason I say unfortunate is because it was not recorded and we can't put it on YouTube. Although we have to talk to Steve about getting some sort of data off of that server.
I know, right?
The maturation of the hobby is again revealing itself, right? So you got PSA was bought by Nat Turner's group. You got Kevin Durant investing in Star Stock. Like that's a pretty big deal.
Okay,
And that's a really big deal on more than one level, right? That's like from an urban appeal. That has huge urban appeal, right? From the basketball market and the hip hop market. Like
potentially, yes. Potentially, yes.
Yeah. So I think I like that. I like that they're doing that. So that was I was happy to see that.
Sounds good. So let me add a couple of points to that. But first, let me grab a couple of these comments here. So Brian just says he's listening. No, that's all good, Brian. Feel free to hang out. Dave says a 4-hour plus Ziggy tribute. Oh my God. I can't even imagine the knowledge that Steve would drop.
I have 3 cards. Like, what could we possibly talk about?
Oh, dude, do not be concerned. Do not be concerned. It may involve chicken sandwiches. I can't promise not. I can't promise, but we'll get there.
I'm a vegetarian. So that doesn't work.
You can still comment on chicken sandwiches. You can comment them from the aesthetic appeal.
I won the auction. I won the card.
Okay, what did you win it for? This is important. This is for the market.
I got
Ziggy
it for $8.
$8 flat?
$8 flat.
For the 8.5. This is the 8.5 Ziggy Puffy rookie. Is that right?
So I just went up a level. I'm going to start a registry, even though this is not a PSA card, which is
so this is your third Ziggy card.
Third
you have
Ziggy
increased your holdings by 50%.
Yes. This is my first BGS card. So unfortunately, I can't create a registry because it's BGS. So
well, that seems to me like a strong argument for a universal registry, Ameet.
But it's near mint plus 8.5 Ziggy Puffy.
Bro, that is the highest graded Ziggy you have.
It
is.
It actually is the highest.
That was Ameet. That was an accurate statement I made. That was a completely accurate statement.
That's a completely accurate statement.
That's right. So Ball's having his supper. That's all good. And Steve says he'll take the night off. Like, Steve, you know you'll be there. Like, we're going to be talking Ziggy.
I just want to show everybody.
We're talking goats, man. We're talking goats.
Yo, man, just so you're aware, I now own this baby, right?
It's almost too much.
$8. There's proof. $8.
This is big time.
I own a Ziggy Puffy. What is this? I don't even know what it is.
What is this? He doesn't read it before making bids on cards. This is important.
I literally saw Ziggy Puffy in a slab, and I'm like, I gotta have it.
He's like, I don't care. It's a Ziggy Puffy and an 8.5. It doesn't matter.
8.5, man. Like, I don't even know if there's one higher. like someone's gotta look up the population report. Somebody who's who's watching our show must be bored enough to go look up the pop report of this.
Clearly. Yeah. It's a fact.
So I own 3 Ziggy Puffys.
That's right. Highest rate Ziggy has so far. Very true.
That is funny. You know I'm being real when I'm paying money. Good hard-earned money on this.
Bro, between you and me, we have spent $22 on the Ziggy market. Tonight.
And I'm hoping, because I'm on your channel, Carlos, that when I get to flip this for $9 somewhere down the line, they'll be like, look, this is a very famous card. You know what? I'm gonna actually send this to Ziggy Puffy, see if he'll sign the slab.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you have me on speaker or not, but I can hear the echo.
Say that again?
I don't know if you have me on a speaker or not on your end, but I can hear the echo from your side.
Oh no, I don't have it on. I only have my Yeti on. That's it.
Okay. Well, it's gone now anyway, so we're good.
Cool.
Yeah, so Vinny just says impressive. Yeah, so Brian was hearing the echo too. Okay. It seems to be gone now, so I think we're okay. Cool. It's all good. But yeah, no, the thing is, it's going to be fun watching. So you do realize if you ever do get around to YouTube videos, then there's no choice. You're going to have, at some point, we have to have like a Ziggy Puffy collection update. Like we got to have like a showcase for the Ziggy Puffy collection, buddy.
True, it's true. But I'm gonna tell those guys that like the offside comments, I probably gonna have to like go on mute because I can't laugh at those. Can't laugh at those.
Clearly. All right, hold on. I think Richie's got us. Pop 26 on that card. That's not bad.
That's not bad.
That's not
Is
bad.
is there a 9 or a 10?
That's a fair question.
Is there a black label?
I will agree that I will say though one of the comments that was made previously I watched on I want to say the crossover is that the BGS like population report thing, it's really a pain to navigate. Like it's really bad.
Was that horizontal view, right?
They need to fix that. Like it's actually really bad. Like I don't know what the deal is, but they need to work on that. Like for people to actually look up cards. Like if you actually want to look up cards, it's miserable. It's really unfortunate. And for grading services, like that should be something they should have on point. I should be able to figure out what a pop is pretty quickly. Otherwise, it's really bad. So I think that's fair. So let me actually make a couple points on the star stock real quick. So the thing is, like, I'm not super high on star stock. However, the investment, to your point from earlier, is important in the sense that it is some big name people. And also, I could be mistaken. I think it's Gary Vaynerchuk's brother. I think it's AJ, who also made an investment at the same time as part of that same round of investment. So it means that they're starting to put some money into it, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So Paul's just giving us an update here. 47 9.5s and no 10s.
Wow.
Yeah. So now you got a bit of an idea. But the thing is, when they start putting money in it, yes, that is important. However, I will put a caveat here and an important, I think, disclaimer on all this. Starstock right now, when I was giving you the breakdown, the tongue-in-cheek breakdown of it, where it's like the baby of ComC and thing, is because right now they only do rookie cards. They have no hockey. They don't acknowledge the existence of hockey yet. Their inventory is fairly limited. Like right now, I'll use an example of a guy I don't even like. I don't like Mike Trout, but you take the 2011 Topps Update Mike Trout. There are two on the platform, a PSA 10 and a 9.5 BGS. That's not really going to cut it. If you're being serious, that's not really going to cut it. But a lot of people like certain aspects of the platform, but something important to keep in mind. It's easy to be the new kid on the block when you have no baggage. Remember what I said earlier about the new grading company? It's easy to come in with no baggage. Starstock doesn't have ComC's problem. ComC is doing this, but on a bigger scale because they've been at it for years.
Yeah.
So for them, it's like it's really hard to process. They've got millions of cards. Starstock doesn't. So if they do actually have to ship to somebody, it's a heck of a lot easier to send out a dozen cards, 20, 30 cards. I don't think anybody's buying hundreds of cards on cardstock and having them shipped. They might, but if more people start doing that, right now, I'm not a big time buyer in ComC, but I use ComC. Mm-hmm. The next ComC order I do is going to be 400 cards. And I'm not a big fish. I'm a collector who buys cards that they want. That's 400 cards for my personal collection. I'm going to have to pay almost $300 US to have it shipped. That's miserable. That's terrible. Including my precious Ziggy Puffy Atomic Refractor.
Yeah.
Like the most important card in the thing. Like it's ridiculous. But it's going to cost me hundreds of dollars to have it shipped over along with my other cards. And the reason I would pay that is because I don't want to wait months. But even if I pay hundreds of dollars, it'll take 3 weeks. So I'm not even initiating the thing yet because I need to wait until basically the new year and be like, all right, by the end of January, I'll have it in my hands.
No, that makes sense. I mean, I was looking at, so I'll be honest with you, I wasn't looking at the platform when I was happy to hear that.
But I think that's relevant though. But I think that is relevant because what they're investing in is also important. It's like, great, you put in, it's only 1.3 million, by the way. Like 1.3 million for Kevin Durant is like, I think he has it in his right pocket or his left pocket. Like,
yeah, okay. It's argumentative. He has money, but I mean,
he has a little bit. Yeah.
His name is worth more than the money he's put in.
Agreed. I get that.
Right?
I get that.
He's saying, but I didn't realize it was Gary Vaynerchuk's brother. If that's
I believe
also,
so. I believe it is. I believe it is. I could be
I mean,
mistaken, but that was my understanding.
That's also a name that carries more weight than the money you put in. Agreed, Joe. Yeah. I agree with that for sure.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that Joe's comment is on here. So an important piece here. And I really emphasize the second point. I appreciate that, Joe. Thank you. And by the way, great job on Jeremy's show the other day. I know I don't comment much because right now the comment section gets delayed by like 10 or 15 minutes. So if I'm going to make a timely joke and a zinger, it takes too long. Like I can't do it. The delayed reaction takes too long. Otherwise it's not funny. But the thing is, and you guys did a great job though. I enjoyed the conversation. But the second part is really important to me. I want Joe. I want you. I want me. I want Dave. Steve, I'm not worried about. He's an oracle. He's got this on lock. But the thing is, I want everybody who watches anything I do. I'm going to give you my opinion. I'll back up my opinion. I'll give you my reasons, 4 reasons. But I want you to think for yourself. I'll give you some information to think about. I'll give you something to chew on. Take it back. Workshop it. Figure out if it makes sense to you. If it doesn't, that's cool. But take it back because it's not enough. Even this conversation about Star Stock. I'm dismissive of Star Stock because I don't like the platform, but I still give it careful consideration. I respect that these people put the money in. I respect. So I then pay attention and I say, does it make sense? What are the other considerations? For me, it's important to consider those other pieces because great, you put in the money, but the platform still needs to be good. And right now they have an advantage.
That's totally fair. But I'm saying I was looking at more of the PR aspect of it.
Sure.
Versus,
yeah, for sure.
Sorry, the PR aspect of it is amazing, right? So you have Kevin Durant on there, and I love it because it legitimizes what people are trying to do in the hobby, right? And he's a well-known player and well-respected player, right? So I like it from that point of view. You know what I mean? Ziggy is now on my watch list. Look what I'm gunning for you. Competition is beautiful,
dude.
Should never have a monopoly.
I mean, it's happening. It's like the meme. Oh my God. It's like, you guys, it's happening. It's happening.
I swear to God. 173. Okay.
Yep. I think that's for BGS, just so we're clear.
You know what I'm really scared of at the next real life expo? I think someone's going to come and try and sell me their Ziggy Palfy collection.
No, I mean, what I want to happen, this is what I want. And I will actively work towards this. I want to make sure you are the real Ziggy Palfy Super Collection. I want people to throw Ziggy Palfys at you. I want. Forget about selling you. No, I mean they belong to you. They belong in your collection.
Not Beckett. I should ask Upper Deck to do not like I have any pull. Hopefully one day Upper Deck will see my Ziggy Palfy references and want to do a spotlight of me again on their website with my three graded cards. And I wasn't joking. I will eventually go and figure out how to get a registry on PSA. Hold on, we have the low end registry, which we still have to do. Well, I'm going to do right. The low end registry.
As you should. Listen, I've shown my respect to Ziggy in this show. I have shown my respect. I have paid respect to the GOAT.
There you go.
So I pay respect. Yeah. So I think what needs to happen is, you know how like they had that fan of the game insert. I think it's Tops. Yeah. I think it's Tops fan of the game.
Tops does it.
Yeah, so Tops does it. Doesn't matter. Upper Deck should do one. And they'll call it Fan of Ziggy. And it's just literally a 10-card set that's just you in different poses. It's just you.
And I'll hold them and I try and stretch them so they fill out all my hand as I'm holding them.
Yeah, right? But what'll happen is like all the cards will be the same 3 Ziggy cards, but you'll like show the front. You'll show the back. You show them from the side.
And then, just show the side profile. Yes. We're looking through it. Like there's a card inside. Yes. There's a card inside, definitely. Or look top down, like 4D. But the other thing I'm fearful of is Upper Deck will give me, a random act of kindness, and I'll get a Ziggy Palfy poster or something like that. It's just gonna. Actually, no, I won't figure that. I'll be happy with that,
dude. Like, embrace it. This is going to be your.
No, I take it all back. I will totally embrace it, and I wonder if I'll definitely embrace it.
Yeah, next expo we need you to have like an I Heart Ziggy shirt while you're at the booth. That's what you need to be doing.
My next business card, I should make a Ziggy Palfy business card.
As you should. Agreed. 100%. I'm on board with this one. I support you in this endeavor. This is a most worthy cause.
I'm going to create a website saying, Ziggy Palfy, please look out for my mail. One long URL string. Ziggy Palfy, look out for my mail.
.com.
And it'll come out. The restraining order will come very shortly after that.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yes, Brian. You're getting this. You're getting it. You are
There
getting
was
it.
there was a joke. I don't remember who it was, but there was a joke where a bunch of us got together. We just started mailing all of our base of a certain player to a guy.
Mm-hmm.
Just and loads of them. I'm talking like 10, 15. This one posted wasn't that bad.
Richie's trying to help you out right now.
Oh man. Really?
Bruh. Why?
You know what?
You know
So-
what you need to do. Like, I don't even need to explain this to you. You know what you need to do. The mayor has spoken.
Can we convince Barry and Compsey who's watching? Can you put that card, that slab, in a plain white envelope? And then put it in it's PWE as the acronym goes.
Wonderful.
And then I'll TTM that over to Ziggy. Rich, where would I get the address? Like I'm new to this.
I think this is a critical piece of information that needs to be passed along. Okay, let me put a button on the Starstruck thing then. Your point about the PR thing
went off track 3 times.
No, this was an important tangent we needed to
I thought you said Starstruck, not Starstock. Sorry.
My answer to you is yes. So, like I said, I think the PR piece is a valid point. My thing is, I'd like to see what happens with the actual investment, what they do with it. Although my big thing was 1.3 million feels small because it wasn't just KD. The 1.3 million round was a couple of them, including Gary Vaynerchuk's brother. Now it's good they put some money in, but like, what are they going to do with 1.3 million? Like, I don't know what that's going to change for Starstock as a business model. It's good they got some extra cash, but I don't know what they're going to do with that.
We'll find out. I'm sure they'll figure out something.
Yeah, exactly. So here you go. Yes, buddy. Yes.
That's going to be a hell of an expensive TDM. And then it's going to get the plastic.
Oh, come on. You'll be fine. For his biggest super fan, Ziggy will accommodate you. Don't worry about that. Anyway, so let's do this one here. I do actually want to talk about the hobby wax and retail wax just a little bit. We can definitely.
All right, let's do it.
Let's talk about it for a bit. One thing. So I'll tell you what. Let me get a little bit of a general thought on you. There's something I have in mind, but let me get a general thought on you on this. Kind of your opinion on it. Obviously, we've got the high price of wax. We've got lack of availability. There's a lot of factors to that piece. But is there anything in particular that stood out for you? Something that you had in mind?
So it's affordability, right?
Sure.
And I was talking to a very good friend earlier this morning about it. Out west, wax is unaffordable. If you look at panini wax, basketball wax, like $1,200, $1,500, $1,300. It's just unaffordable. It's going to come to a point where nobody can really afford it. So where is that entry point where you get people to kind of bite a taste of it to get their teeth into something? There are people outside that are hoarding Tim Hortons wax, buying it by the truckload. I'm talking by entire cases. So it's like completely unaffordable at some point, right? And then people are like, Walmart, you can't even get them because they're out of the product, right? So like, where does that entry point begin, right? That's one.
Are you finding shortages of Tim Hortons now? Like, I believe you. I believe you that people are buying in large numbers, but like,
I don't think there's a shortage, but just the people are trying to capitalize and buy them by like cases, right, and flip them that way,
right?
There's going to come a point where I think hobby is just so heavily allocated and just so hard to come by. Like, how do you entice people if you can't get the product to them, right? Then where does that oversupply, demand, and all that stuff come from, right?
Yeah. So Brian's just making the point here. It's going to be. I want to acknowledge this because the point you were making there is actually really beautiful. Because it leads me down. So let me take this for a second. The thought that I have, and let me give a couple of points here, and then I want to get your take on this. When we're talking about the cheap and accessible wax, what we're really talking about a lot of times, and I've heard this conversation said a lot, is we're looking at like the next generation, the young people that then get a chance to have a taste of wax and all this to get into the collecting side of it. But I find it interesting, and I get it, but my answer has always been the same. I go back to the accountability piece. If you don't buy the secondary market prices, then it doesn't become valuable from the secondary market. Therefore, it would be plenty available. There's actually quite a bit of wax that's made. It's not like it's not shortage. That isn't the case. It's just that people buy it in bulk, trying to hoard it to try to maximize those profits. And as long as people pay secondary market prices, you are the architect of your own problem here.
Agreed. Yeah. And I have bought secondary wax.
Yeah.
Like for sure.
But let me ask you this piece. So let's talk about this whole kids thing. I'm curious because I do agree that retail is a good entry point for a lot of these youngsters. I struggle with it a bit though, because it's like, okay, great. So the solution that is thrown out there a lot is like, well, you could focus on those low end products, right? Like, an OPG or an MVP or something like that, which you could totally do. But then my thought process is, well, okay, does MVP sell well? Does OPG sell well? Do the kids, let's put it this way. I think we've talked about it before. Let's say your kids were super into collecting. Would they want to open that if you offered them MVP or OPG? Let's again, hypothetically, if they were totally into collecting, would they want to do that, or would they want to open what some of the older kids are opening?
They'll open whatever the older kids are opening. And also, I just had another thought. Kids are way more sophisticated now than when we were kids, right?
Yeah. But you're leading into the point I'm trying to get at, though. You try to feed them this low-end product. Let's say we came up with another collector's choice, something in that vein. Again, collector's choice is always the base low-end product, right? It was designed for kids predominantly. But let's say you do it. I think it would be a loss leader. Why doesn't collector's choice exist today? It wasn't exactly. It was out there. It was plentiful. Was it selling well? I don't really think it was necessarily. Like, if it was, it would still be there. It would still be in the product line if it was selling that well. Right?
No, point taken. I think I just realized I just kind of self-corrected my own thought process there. Like, I think I'm underestimating the sophistication of the younger crowd right now, because I'm thinking about kids who come to the show, and Jeremy and other dealers can attest to this. Like, there are kids that are in their 15 to 16. They're very knowledgeable and coming with cash, and they know what they're going to buy, right?
Yeah, I don't think you can sell kids a dumbed down version of the product.
I agree.
Even if it's cheap, it's not going to work. Tim Hortons work because it's available at Tim Hortons. It's easily accessible. You can go there while you're getting your coffee and get a couple of packs for the kid. And maybe they put together the set. It's like the old McDonald's cards. Those were fun, but it's fleeting. When it's done, when they finish putting together the set, it goes into storage. That isn't sustainable. Like, it doesn't actually hold for other products. They're not exactly going after, like I said, the kids were not collecting collector's choice in droves, because I promise you, if they were, we'd have a collector's choice product right now.
No, I agree. And by the way, this fist pump was the Bills.
What's the score now? What's the score now?
I believe it's 21, 21-7.
Okay. It's good.
Yeah. Well, it will be once they kick the field goal.
Yeah. But the point that I've been making, and this is something that I consistently see, and I understand. They talk about, we need to have a cheaper product for the kids. The kids don't want the cheaper product. The kids, let's assume they're actually kids, like little kids. They have no sense of price. You could give them packs of the cup. They wouldn't know what the difference is. For them, packs are packs. For you, your cost, you're not going to give them tins of the cup to open. But what happens is, as soon as they become aware, as soon as they gain awareness of the relative price, it's like the Matrix. Now they know it's a simulation. You're not going to be able to trick them anymore. Like, it's not going to work. So you try to hand them the collector's choice packs and they'll reject it. And as soon as they get older as collectors and more sophisticated as collectors, to your point, I'll give you a simple example. You bought, I think, a case of Series 1 or something like that, or a couple of cases. I forget what the deal was. Okay, Ameet, question for you. You're an experienced breaker. You're an experienced collector. You've been around this game for like 5 or 6 minutes, at least, maybe 7. But when you're opening those cases, how much attention are you giving to the base cards?
0.
Why?
Because I don't care.
Why don't you care?
Because they don't do anything for me.
Correct. But as the kids get sophisticated, will they care about the base cards?
No.
If they're collecting a player, maybe. If they're collecting a team set, maybe. If they're collecting the set, they'll care in the context of the set.
But there's less player collectors now, and they're more value-based.
I agree. I'm agreeing with you. All I'm trying to say is that there will be a short window where you can, quote unquote, trick them into just being happy with base until that runs out. It runs out fast. Like, you've got almost this infinitesimally small. Well, guess what? As soon as they discover, wait a minute, this base is junk. Boom. The game's over.
No, you're right.
Like, it ends so fast. It's like, you're not going to trick them by buying this baseline product. You're not going to trick them. When we were kids, O-Pee-Chee and Topps, whatever the case may be. For me, it was Topps Baseball. I was the baseball fan. Yeah. Topps Baseball was Topps Baseball. If you were collecting Topps Baseball and I was collecting Topps Baseball, we were buying the same packs.
Yeah.
There was no difference. You were buying the same packs I was. Today, obviously, we have these levels. We have high end, low end, mid end brands. Like, I totally get that. But the kids don't want the cheap stuff because as soon as they know it's the cheap stuff, they don't want it anymore.
No, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, if one of their friends have rich parents who give them tins of the cup, it's not going to work. You're done.
No, it makes sense. No, it makes sense. I think we brought it up, and I think there's the affordability factor.
Totally,
yeah, don't buy on the secondary market. But I think the kids angle that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah,
I self-corrected my own opinion, and you're basically validating that thought process.
Yeah, I just wanted to address it because it was a question. So I will acknowledge Cardboard Underground on Instagram brought up the question, so I wanted to make sure I addressed. That's why as soon as we started with it, I was like, beautiful. We're going to be able to hit on this because. But I'll read the question just so we're all good.
Yeah.
So it's a question for me and for you. We all have hockey cards regardless of their value. What would be a good way to make base cards more appreciated by the younger generation and not just the hits? And that's what we've been addressing here. I mean, I want to read or hear about the jubilation when pulling something like a Ziggy Puffy rookie is pulled. By the way, Ziggy Puffy reference again.
Yeah.
So he understands. So that's Cardboard Underground on Instagram. I wanted to make sure I addressed the question. The point that I was making and that we were alluding to is that I love the idea. And I think a lot of hobbyists, they're thinking of the kids and thinking of the long term. It's like, oh man, it would be so awesome if the kids were excited, if the kids were enjoying themselves. I'll just include Paul's including the score as well. Just including with me here. So Vinny's daughter opened artifacts with him and she's aware and she's 9. Yeah. The thing is the window's so small. You've got as soon as they become aware of value, the game's over. The hits suddenly become super important. As soon as the hit becomes important, you may as well just burn the base cards.
It's also a good point because I was opening up. So I had opened up a bunch of Pokemon, right? Because I was trying to hit the Charizard and the Blastoise.
Yeah.
And I still do. I don't know why. But anyways, my son, I was showing him the base cards, and he was like, yeah, whatever. And then I showed him like what I was submitting to PSA.
Sure.
He's like, oh, that's a Blastoise, and that's this, and that's this, and this does this, and this. And he knows he's 8, or he's 7, sorry.
Exactly. But that's the thing, though. Like, so if you can't get them at 8 and 7, like,
I agree. I mean, it'd be interesting. I don't know what the rationale is. And I'll have to ask next time I talk to Upper Deck, like, what is the rationale for putting in the base cards? I have to find out. Like, there must be some reason for it. I like the and also less is more, right? So if you order the higher end product as 1 or 2 cards per pack, and it's an auto or whatever, a mem, that kind of stuff, it means more. There's less you have to collect, right? And also the way the population and the populace is working, and more people are going into condos. There's less room. There's less space. They probably don't want that stuff, right? So,
yeah, and that's always going to be a bit of a sticking point because and I'll grab a couple of the comments. I am seeing them here. So the issue that comes into it is that as soon as the kids realize that the hits are the only parts that quote unquote matter, because they're going to take cues from the older collectors. Like, it doesn't have to be Ameet. It can be somebody in their teens who opens a case or opens a box and immediately casts aside all the base cards. The subliminal messaging is in place. Constantly, you're seeing, oh yeah, base cards, whatever. Here, take the base cards. I don't care. Well, do I want what you don't care about?
Yeah. No.
Kids are a little bit smarter than that. A little bit. Give them a little credit, They're going to realize, wait a minute.
How many also is there's, sorry.
Yeah, I'm just grabbing. I wanted to make sure. And so Brian experienced this, and I believe Joe also was saying that they have a little bit of Series 1 and 2. But
I would love to be. One of my favorite things about going to the States, well, whenever I did visit the States, was seeing all the other products on the shelf.
Mm-hmm. So this is Richie's comment here, and I think this is a good one. I think if kids really do want to collect, they'll find a way, which is very true. How to expand youth interest beyond those, the collector gene is more challenging. The thing is, we talk about the collector gene, and Jeremy's a big fan of it, and I agree. But let me give you guys a little bit of an analogy here. I certainly have the collector gene. There are people out there like myself. I've collected 30 years uninterrupted. I really didn't have an interruption. I had to slow down when I was in school and I was busy and I didn't have time or money to play around. I would still buy a couple of cards here and there though on eBay. Like, I've had an eBay account for more than 20 years. So I can go on eBay and grab a card here or two. I'd forego a beer here and there and buy a couple of small cards. So I didn't stop collecting. It just slowed down. Yeah. But I've collected consistently. But the thing is, I like collecting a lot of stuff. I have a lot of hobbies and interests. If it wasn't cards, it'd be something else. I'm a big fan of watches. If I had unlimited funds and you said you can only collect one things, I'd switch to watches. But I still enjoy cards. The thing with cards is that I like the curation. I like building the collection in a certain way and designing this, because it doesn't have to be sets. If you want to collect sets, you can collect sets. If you want to collect a player, you can collect the player. If you want to collect the team, you can collect the team. The choices are fantastic. For the watches, I appreciate the engineering. But I said, if you give me only one choice, I'm taking the watches because I'm a fan of that engineering. But I'm a collector at heart in general. Ideally, I'd collect both. But I'm saying, like, I have multiple interests. So for me, I'm willing to shift between them. But for somebody who's a hardcore collector, which I totally get, you wind up, it's like you're going to have to, you find your niche. And then once you find your niche, the other areas are just there. They're just there. So it becomes like, okay, so what is it now? What is it now? Like, what do you do? So it's like, that's part of it. Let me grab a couple of these comments here real quick. So Vinny just says, yep, she likes to collect sets. And that's great. As long as your kids like collecting the sets, then the base cards retain their meaning. Yep. For vintage cards, the base sets still mean something to me because they're part of the set. I need them to complete this. It's not complete unless I have those as well. It can't just be the stars. But for day to day, most people, it's the stars. So Boston Kid just says here, remember, we're all custodians for the cards, not just collectors. It is true. But the problem is that when you want to transfer it to next generation, the motivations of the next generation, the problem is we, and I'm going to use the collective we, as collectors, because we know about value, it's transferring over to the next generation. Like they can't avoid it. They can avoid it for 5 minutes, but that's it.
And there's so much proliferation of the like cards selling for big bucks. Like that's what's going to motivate them, right? So
yeah, and the thing is, the great irony is a big sale like the Gretzky sale. Oh, this is great for the hobby. It'll bring more people in. It brings more people in because there's money.
Yeah,
and that's not because they wanted to collect. I agree, but I'm trying to get at, like, you're trying to develop these collectors from a pure collecting standpoint, but they're coming in because of money. So they're not coming in from a purely collecting. If they had been attracted from a purely collecting standpoint, they would have come on their own.
Oh no, I agree, and I'm saying that's why I was correcting my point earlier.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't well informed, so we had to discuss it, right?
Yeah, it's ironic. The thing that brings them in is the thing that guarantees they're not like purebred collectors. They're going to be value collectors, which is not a sin, but it's part of the deal too. Probably save a lot of money with that base. I'd love that though. Do you have any idea how much joy I would get from like packs of like air?
Yeah, so it's like one thing I'll tell you though, they don't put anything on the back of cards anymore. There's no write-up.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
There's no room if you're Tuukka Rask.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, you can do the explanation, Vinny, about some of the players, but in some cases it'll matter, in some cases it won't. Now, mind you, if you're a fan of the sport, it helps a lot. That'll certainly assist, I would say. Jeremy just says in there, yep, slow down, not a stoppage, yep. Dave likes to use the sun for his timekeeping. So the sundial is his style of watch, which is fair.
Wait, what did he say?
He just says the only watch I use is the sun.
Oh God, I want to say so many things. I want to say so many things.
Save it for the podcast, Ameet. Save it for the podcast. All right,
yeah,
so Boston
right.
Kids interruption was from 91 to 2008. That's fair. That's okay. And Dave is uninterrupted since the mid to late 86. Hey, fair. You got me beat by about 4 years, so good on you. So let's see here. I guess you need base cards to satisfy rookie requirements. Yes, as long as it is matter. See, Richie, you get this.
Antimatter?
It has to. We've ruled out antimatter for now.
Are you sure?
I'm willing to rediscuss it.
Hold on. Dave is going to have that on his show.
What's that?
Is Dave going to have that on his show?
What, antimatter?
Antimatter.
I see no reason why not.
And its relation to wrestling.
Can we somehow get antimatter related to wrestling and chicken sandwiches?
Yes. So I'll come on that show.
That could literally be every single show they do. That could literally be any show you want.
What, do they really like chicken sandwiches?
Apparently. That was an extended topic.
Are they a delicacy in Ely?
I think the original thing that led to the chicken sandwiches was a comparison of various fast food. And that led to a discussion of chicken sandwiches.
Oh, okay.
So that it does flow. Ameet, there is a flow. Like if you follow it, there is a flow. Now, the problem is you need to be like one of those crazy conspiracy theorists where you put like points on a board and then try to connect them with string. If you do that, eventually you'll be like, this makes sense.
If you do enough of that, you'll make a sock.
I see nothing wrong with this. I don't follow you. So
I
Brian
didn't
says,
dig cards. It wasn't for money. I believe.
yeah, something a little closer to ancient gold artifacts. Yeah. And the thing is, different collectors have different things that interest them, and that's okay. And I've always been a big fan. I'm a big fan of having diversified interests because it keeps you from getting bored. If you get in one lane permanently and that's your tunnel vision, that's all you do. Well, that's not exciting. Like that's not interesting to me. I like having variety of interests. It keeps things interesting. This channel. I like to focus on sports cards now because it gives it a focus. It gives it a direction. But like, I could start 10 YouTube channels on a variety of different topics and have fun with that too. I just don't want to throw it all in one channel because that would get complicated. I was like, okay, so when do I make a video about this? And when do I make a video about that? And it's just too much. It's easier just to keep it a little more straightforward.
So I think I figured out Dave can make a lot of sub-content pieces from his illegible content pieces.
So you're just discovering what Dave's channel is now?
I got it. It just made sense. Everything just clicked.
It all came together for you? Now you get it? Stuff and things and stuff?
$10 million would be cards. Well, there's a lot of things I would invest in $10 million in, but some of it would be cards.
I think it would be worth like if you want to look at it as an investment, okay? We use the word invest here, #invest. But if we use the word invest here, could cards be part of that portfolio? Let's just use
100%. 100%.
Totally. Yeah. But like I said, again, it's not a topic that a lot of people, and I laugh because during that podcast, Vinny referenced some of my old videos on my channel where I did talk about watches a bit. The only reason I didn't do that more was because watches are really expensive. They are tremendous. It's not like I can buy one every weekend. That's not going to work. I would love it.
You just change the watch strap, right? Like, oh, look at this watch.
Dude, nothing would give me greater pleasure than to be able to review a watch every week. I would create a YouTube channel for that, but I can't afford it. I can't play that game. It's too much.
Now you got me like thinking what Dave would talk about watches. Like, this is weird.
That'd be amazing. I would love some of it. I would love Dave's take on, Swiss made versus actual Swiss made versus in-house movements. Like, dude, we could get some great insight from Dave on this. There's some good stuff.
This vision of Dave going out to the field, look at the sundial to figure out what time it is. Like
See, you're thinking too small, Ameet. I have a vision of Dave visiting Glashütte in Germany and speaking to the Germans in their native tongue. Of course, he's fluent. Speaking in their native tongue and getting the insight on some of their latest watch creations. I would like to see that video.
I'd like to see him do a group break with the sundial. That'd be interesting.
I see nothing wrong with this.
Yeah.
I think this is some quality. Dave, I hope you're jotting this down. This is some quality content ideas here. Some quality content.
It does go because he's Amish Dave, right? It's the sundial. It's very... Yeah.
It's on brand. Dude, it's on brand. Like, he's consistent. Give him his props. He's consistent. But to answer kind of with Brian's suggestion here, like, cards could certainly be part of it.
Yeah, definitely.
But I will tell you, like, quote unquote, alternative investment fields. Literally, alternative investment fields. There have been a lot of, again, people who are inside of the collecting sphere, like in cards. They almost forget that other collectibles exist. There was it was maybe a year or two ago was the first Rolex that cleared 10 million in auction. Like, it was a big deal. It got to 8 figures. It was a big deal, and it was a historic sale, and it happens. And there are various collectibles that have been setting records, and that was prior to this year. That was a couple of years ago now. I have the catalog from that auction because I was paying attention. So again, you see a fraction. I've said it on multiple videos. When I do this stuff, you're seeing a fraction of what I do. I pay attention to the watch auction market because I'm fascinated by that world. I love paying attention to stuff like that. But that's one facet of various collectibles I like to pay attention to. I have the catalog from that because I paid for that catalog because I wanted to have it. Because I knew it was going to be a historic auction for that. Card guys don't care about that. I totally get it. But the point is, the collectible world goes beyond your scope. Inside the world of cards, I enjoy this too. But like a lot of more collectors than you think might have more interest than you would suspect. We're not all tunnel vision.
Well, no, I'd say quite a few of us have
agreed.
Lots of varied interests, right? Like,
agreed.
Not just cards. Diversity. There's also, one thing going back. So alternative funds. So I was just given a link to a CNBC article about the hobby, and this guy was talking about how he had created an alt fund an alt mutual, like something like that. I haven't finished it. I want to finish it after you and I are done.
Yep.
But very intriguing. I wanted to listen on that.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's a lot out there. It's one of the sports cards is one frontier. There are a multitude of frontiers. I'm getting the comments here. So Bobby enjoyed your socks comment. That was good. I like this comment from Brian. Brian, you have no idea the joy it would give me to. If I had the time, I feel like I use up all my hours in the day now. I've got no extra.
I like my Fitbit.
Yeah, well, it's funny because most of the time now on the when I do these shows, and it makes me sad. It actually legitimately makes me sad because right now in COVID times, I'm not out and about, so I don't have the time. I've got my watches sitting in the case. Sometimes I'll grab them and wind them up and put them on because it annoys me that I don't get to wear them as much as I want to. But day to day, like it's more convenient to wear a G-Shock. It just makes more sense. Like it just makes more sense for day to day because I just put it on and it's got the time.
So Carlos, do you do this when people ask you for the time?
Maybe I do. I don't need to do it much. Right now, you don't need to do it at all.
Your gold chains. Your gold chains.
What's that?
With your gold chains.
Well, it's the one gold chain. I have a gold chain. I have the one. But I usually wear it under the shirt, but I do have a gold chain. Funny you mentioned.
Well, it's funny because you're wearing a chain and you're like fine watches, and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about sports cards for?
I know, like
there's probably more viewers on watches.
Oh, there can be actually. Yeah, you'd be surprised. Some of the bigger watch channels. So let me grab this here. So I'll tell you, Brian. One of the aspirations I have, the next watch that I want. So I have an Omega. I have the one of the old versions of the Planet Ocean, which I love. That watch I bought for my 30th birthday. That was a really nice watch that I enjoyed. The next one I'm going to buy is going to be a Rolex. I want to buy a new one. Patek Philippe is a dream. I can't afford it. The Patek Philippe is like, oh my God. It's like I wish. Not on my current budget. Maybe if the Ziggy Puffy money comes in. If the serious Ziggy Puffy money comes in, I can get my Patek Philippe.
He probably owns a really nice watch, I'm sure.
I have no doubt. I would enjoy it. Although there are some good German watch brands as well. A Lang & Söhne, that's a great brand. And
you're speaking Greek to me, buddy.
I'm speaking German. I'm speaking German, Ameet. German. The Germans. See? Dave knows. Come on, Ameet. Get with the program, Matt.
I don't mind. I know a very little German, if anything.
Yeah, so let me grab this one here. So Dave does discuss a cornucopia of topics previous to the podcast starting, and then when Steve and I started the podcast. Like, you could have so much information. And Dave churns his own butter, according to Steve. Come on.
I want to say so much.
See? Boston Kid says, can you link the CNBC video?
Yeah.
So I think, correct me if I'm wrong, from your side, you have the chat as well on your view, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you could actually put the link if you wanted to in the comment section there, and then everybody I think would get it. So I think that'd be all right.
You mean I have the so I just
if you have the link, if you have the URL, you could put it in the comment section. I think that would work. I believe.
Yeah, I'm going to get it right now.
Oh, Brian, you have no idea it doesn't work as well with the G-Shock. The good news is I have the time. It's 10:53. This one's about 5 minutes fast right now. I've got it set fast.
Hold on, Carlos, you did it this way.
Yeah, I know. But the G-Shock, it doesn't feel right with the G-Shock. I mean, if I was wearing the Omega, it would feel more correct. But with the G-Shock, it just doesn't feel right. I like the G-Shock though. It's a good watch for what it is, especially.
So, Carlos, I'm trying to put a comment in, but there's no comment area.
Oh, you don't have it? Okay, so do me a favor. Do you have?
Here, I'll send it to you in private.
Yeah,
chat.
exactly. Yeah, if you give me that, I can do it. I think it allows me to, so that's okay. Don't worry, I'll take care of it.
I like that I can now see the chat. I didn't know you could do that. Now I know.
I thought I was pretty sure you could. So hopefully you guys can see. I included the link to the CNBC video from that Ameet gave me. So hopefully that works for you. You'll have to let me know about
really, really interesting. So in there's a gentleman. I believe he's the one that bought the Giannis. I want to say Giannis logo man. And the LeBron that went for big bucks.
Okay, that's cool.
But he's apparently created. Anyway, I've only watched about it just got to that part before I joined with you.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I found it interesting.
That's all good. So Vinny, which manufacturer are you talking about that makes a fine pen? There are manufacturers that do both. I know Mont Blanc makes, in addition to fine pens, they also make watches now. They've really gotten into that side of the game, but that's the only one that I know of.
What about Cross? Cross any good?
It's pretty much the pen that you get like at Staples. See, here's the thing. I've got a couple of those pens. So, okay, you want to joke about variety of miscellaneous things?
Hold on, I have a monotype pen.
Okay.
Is that any good?
A
It's made
monotype
of wood.
pen.
It's made of wood.
Wow, Ameet, it's made out of wood. You're good to go. Okay. So I'm going to spend like 30 seconds on this and no more. Okay, do you know what this is?
It's a pen.
Yes, it's a pen. This is a Pelican pen.
Is this a joke? Like,
No, that's a German pen manufacturer. This
Okay.
is a fountain pen.
okay,
If you ever get a chance, look up Pelican fountain pens and
I don't even know how to spell that.
PL. You could start there. You could, if you go to Google and start with that, it'll actually auto finish it for you.
All right, let's see. Let's see how many people look up Pelican pen.
Pelikan. So let me grab Vinny's comment here. Yeah, it should be. It's kind of a known brand, Ameet. It's not an obscure brand.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you're a pen snob. I'm sorry.
Dude, I have many. I have much versatility.
Look, I have 3 pens. I got a Bic pen, or should I say beak to make it sound really chic?
Beak. Yeah.
Beak.
Uh-huh.
I have the monotype.
Yeah.
And then my favorite crafting tool is the pencil, just so you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my Statler eraser.
Wow. I actually don't mind Stadler. So exactly, they do both. Yeah, Crossman, Waterman, and Visconti. Yep.
Sorry, I went way off topic again.
That's all right. For what we were talking about, it actually still fit in and made sense. Yeah.
I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. I think Amish Dave just completely foobarred this whole conversation up.
Not really. I'm following where it's going. We were talking about German watches. Now we're talking about German fountain pens. Like, bro, stay with it. Like,
Wait.
we're on this.
Actually, is Ziggy Puffy? He's Czech, right? I was going to say
He's Slovakian. He's Slovakian.
Slovakian. All right.
All right. So hold on, Brian. Here you go.
Show the pen again. All right, there you go. Pen.
Yeah. There's a couple of different models that are different sizes. This one's the 800.
I love Amish's comment.
Dave, we got to get you all the way up to fountain pen. Come on. The quill and inkwell's not bad, but after you're done doing your version of the Declaration of Independence, you got to step up your game, my friend. You got to step up your game.
How is your calligraphy?
Calligraphy garbage, but my
cursive.
Yeah, my cursive's actually still pretty decent. Not as good as it once was, but still decent. I do my best. So that's the, I don't know what the price is on those now, Paul. I bought mine a while ago. It's the M800. I don't know what the going rate is on those things now. I could guess, but I have
Do you use that pen when you fill out your PSA forms?
Bruh, of course. Why do you think I get all tens? They respect. They know. Come on. Psh. Ameet, you cannot use the common or big pens when you're filling in your PSA forms.
Beak.
They'll know.
Beak.
They'll know.
Beak.
That's right. Exactly. So hold on here. We got Vinny's comment here. And this one here. This is how Steve in the podcast flows. And here you go. Paul can vouch for me.
You know, people are going to be tuning into this show and get really PO'd right now because it has nothing to do with hockey cards or hobby cards.
I made no such ludicrous marketing claims, Ameet. I did not make such promises. I just said a chill stream. That's what we're getting.
Chill stream.
I sent the card. I sent the Cujo gold impulse card to Paul, and when I send something like that to somebody where I'm just sending it over, I'll do a little quickly cursive handwritten note. So that's why Paul can attest to my cursive.
Were you cursing in the cursive handwritten note?
No, I was very polite in my cursive.
Okay, just wondering.
Yeah, it's a fine nib. Vinny knows he's a man of
culture.
culture.
Wrong on so many levels.
Vinny knows he is a man of culture. Ameet,
you guys are all very well cultured, and I appreciate that. I don't know anything. My cursive, I can't write.
If you want, I can give you the sloppy 5-second cursive.
I have the worst handwriting and knowing the man.
This is just our notes from earlier. I put that together about
4
seconds.
We're going to go there. If we're going to go there. Let's see my handwriting.
We're going to get his handwriting now.
I'll show you all quickly.
M800, Paul. Just the 800. There is an 805 as well, but the M800 is the normal one.
That's my to-do list at work. See? That's my writing. Speaking of autographs and really nice writing, John Beliveau had the best autograph ever. I loved his autograph.
He did. I would agree.
Yeah.
Okay, you see the last line there?
Nice try, Ameet. Thanks for
sharing.
Okay, my
H's are always in a certain style. That's always my way to do the H. But thanks for sharing.
I appreciate your cursive. You'll be able to auto pen my next book.
I will do my best. I will do my best to meet up that kind of thing. Brian, I am fully aware of what I said. Where you go with that in your mind is up to you.
Oh man, this show's going offside again. No more offside comments. I can't approve that.
We're amusing Brian. What do you want?
Chill stream?
Yes.
Chill stream with a soda stream?
Dude, I have a soda stream. They're awesome.
I actually, how is it? So we go off topic again.
Well, I think we actually finished the topic already. You can't go off topic if we're done the topic.
No, but this is a subtopic within a micro topic?
Yes.
Okay. Cursively?
Dude, of course. Bro.
How's your kerning on your cursive?
What's that?
How's your kerning on your cursive?
Ooh, work in progress. I'll get back to you. Check Fountain Pen Possible. They should have it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's a couple different ones. I've actually bought a couple of different fountain pens. Those things are expensive too. Just so you know. It's stupid.
What's the most expensive pen you own?
Most expensive pen? It would be that. It would be this guy. It'd be the M800. These things are not cheap.
Are they heavy?
No, I don't feel like they are. I think they're actually pretty good.
We've lost our count. People just fallen asleep.
Nope. We're pretty close to where we were earlier.
Interesting.
Told you.
Oh, here we go. You know what? It's funny, Carlos. It was with you and Dave. You guys are completely taking my brand to a whole new level. So only with you guys, I'll be this way. I'll be serious every other time.
Yes. When does that start? Just out of curiosity.
I have no idea. Maybe when the chicken sandwiches comes on screen.
Ooh, well, listen. I still feel like you're underestimating your ability to speak on the matter of chicken sandwiches. Like, we've already shown your versatility. Right now, we're demonstrating your versatility.
I used to eat meat, so I can talk about chicken sandwiches.
Exactly. Yeah. So Vinny knows.
But do you collect? Okay, I'm going to stop. I'll stop.
I would say I would give up while you're behind. But the thing is, like I think the biggest thing.
What were we talking about?
The last thing?
No.
The last thing was the wax, and then we kind of got off that. And do you want to add something about the wax? We can.
No.
We kind of actually made our point on that already.
Just like wax, it's dead. Let's not go there.
That's right. Yeah. 24-karat gold full pen. Exactly.
Hey, what are you all like, big time ballers with your fancy pens?
Well, the thing is, they make the nib, this part here. They actually make it out of gold.
It's a calligraphy pen.
It's not really, but sure.
It's got the nib.
There's more than one type, but yes.
Okay, sorry. I'm ignorance is bliss over here.
That's okay. It is a niche hobby. Like,
I like my pencil.
Is. Exactly.
I have a very fancy sharpener though.
Yeah, so Dave kind of gets the point, and actually, this is a valid statement here. The style is okay. They enjoy it because the thing is, it's a chat, and the chat can go in any direction you want. And the thing is, the chat window here. Yeah. If you guys want to talk about any specific hobby topic, we can. The main ones we wanted to hit on, like the regret thing, I want to save for next time.
I want to save that one because that one can be, it can go many different ways.
I want that to be the opening topic of a discussion because it is a good starting point and it can branch off into a whole bunch of areas.
Yeah, I have a lot of points on that one.
Yeah, that's why I say I don't want to. I think that's a good topic. I don't want to try to introduce it at the end and then give it short change when it's actually it's a good discussion. The thing is, and I joke about it with Ameet and I joke about it with other folks, is that, and I did a video specifically about talking about different types of content I do on the channel, is that the live stream is supposed to be, it goes wherever it goes. But if you go back and look through the live stream, we talked about all the topics that we were talking about and we covered them. We did discussions on the Star Stock thing. We did discussion on the wax for a little bit. We did a discussion. It's all there.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be funny, but it's like, it's the segues are what makes the conversations awesome, right?
Yeah.
Hey, someone bought a Ziggy Palfy rookie today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, the Ziggy Palfy today. Nice.
Absolutely, and it's a good thing. But the thing is, like, if we literally, I could, I'm saying, I'm making reference to that video. I did talk about the idea where, like, if I wanted to, we could have done a live stream where, like, hey, Ameet, let's just strictly talk hobby the whole time.
Yeah.
But that'd be kind of boring. It
Well,
wouldn't be
it's
as much
also
fun.
boring. It's also like not my style. I like to do things differently, right? Like to see what's out there.
A little
Um,
variety, I think, is good. A little variety, I think, is good.
well, there's a lot of good hobby content out there that is very sophisticated, well informed. And I wouldn't want to, misinform the public by talking about something unless I have all the credence behind it and in like education behind it. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad we kind of go off topic and be more regular, like we
Yeah.
would be at the expo.
Yeah. The conversations can go wherever they go, man. That's the whole point. All right, I got to enjoy this. Paul, I think, was doing some research on the Pelican, and I was having some fun with this. So from the pen website, discover a bountiful portfolio of fascinating fountain pens that have been enthusing, likewise connoisseurship in newcomers for years. I would like to know which website you pulled that from. I don't doubt it. Like, I don't doubt those are the terms that he used, but I love it. So Vinny says, sounds about right. It's not a pen, it's a writing instrument. Very true. Crafted by trained experts, each fountain pen from the House of Pelican is a masterpiece of its own. I know their marketing copy. It's so good. It's so good.
I want
All
to
right.
buy a pen just for buying a pen.
Well, if you actually would seriously like to, I can direct you to something that's not expensive. It's actually decent. If you would actually like to know. Later we
Well,
can talk
okay.
about it.
So all joking aside, so I draw on the side. I've
Yeah.
been learning, right?
Yeah.
So I've actually been doing a lot of research on artist pens,
Mhm.
right?
Sure.
I'm actually in the market for a very good quality calligraphy pen. So I have
Sure.
one of those normal pens.
Mhm.
Normal, like they come in a set. It's like calligraphy. It's like a brown box, and you just get 3 or 4 different nibs.
Mhm.
So I do have a fascination for pens, just not fountain pens.
And that's okay. But that's why I say, like, it is literally the definition of a niche hobby. The people who like it a lot, but it's one of those categories, like I said, it's what we talked about earlier. It's literally and at some point, maybe I'll do a discussion on that. I think a lot of us collectors, more than people realize, do branch out into other collecting avenues and other hobbyist enthusiast areas because it's not one
100%.
thing. It's
Yeah.
not one thing. It would be so boring. It's like, well, guys, all I do ever is collect cards. It's like, well, there's so much out there though. There's so much.
I've
Maybe you're
actually
interested,
stopped
maybe it doesn't.
myself. I've actually stopped myself from collecting other things. Like I've had to like pare it back, right? There's things I just can't collect everything,
That
right?
that part is true. You have to be selective a little bit. That's why you can't do everything. So let me grab this one here. So Brian, all I'll say is, yeah, that's the thing is Pelican is German. They love their they love their like numbers and letters. Like they'll do like M800. There's an M200, M400, M600, M800, and an M1000. And then there's the O5s, which Paul referenced earlier. And the difference between the 200 and the 1000 and all those ones in between is the size of the pen. 800 basically means it's the second biggest version. There are smaller versions and there's a bigger version of this. That's all it means. That's all it is. They use the number to go up and down the size scale. That's how you know the different sizes. Yeah. So let me grab this one real quick. So the thing is, I have a Twitter. I literally never use it. I actually really don't like Twitter. Although
I don't
I
like
don't doubt
Twitter
what you're
either.
saying. I love Instagram. I think Instagram's really fun. I enjoy it for what it is. I feel like the community on Instagram is really great. Twitter's just so toxic. It's such a pain. But I don't doubt there's nice Medanos. I do not doubt there's probably tons of collectors out there. I am missing out a little bit, but it's like, I really don't want to venture down the Twitter rabbit hole again. I really don't.
I don't like Twitter. I don't like TikTok. I like Instagram. I'm on Facebook because my friends and family are on there. But it's like there's a limit to how much madness I want to spread to dive into.
Sure. I like this one. So Vinny says his favorite pen name is Graf von Faber Castell. I'm familiar. I know what he's talking about. It's literally called Graf von Faber Castell. It's this big, long, elaborate name. I love it. The Vintage Cricket Cleaner is the best mechanical pencil. Yes, it's Faber Castell. Yep. Famous. Yep. So they're known for pencils. Absolutely. Hockey Eye
Faber
collects
Castell, I
collections.
know. I bought a couple
Yep.
of artist pens from
But
them.
they've also got like a higher brand that's got like a longer name. And it's like the Von Faber Castell. It's like this longer version of that name. I have to do what Ameet just brought up about cutting stuff off. Yeah, it's very tough
Yeah.
to avoid it. Yeah, Brian. Like they're very technical. By the way, here's what I'll say. I don't get to write with this as often as I like to. This is for a lot of things. Let's say this actually because it actually applies to other collectibles. Let's just say something. For what this is a ridiculously overpriced instrument for what it is. It's a pen. It's a pen. It's hundreds of dollars. This is like $10. This does the job that this does. But It's a very different experience. It's a very different thing. It's a very different category. This will do the job perfectly well. Day to day, I use this thing because this gets the job done. When I want to write and I want to just enjoy writing and I take the time to do it, this is what I use. But this is what I use the rest of the day, the rest of the time. This thing is perfect. When I'm writing my notes for the show or I'm doing something else, I'm using this. It's less than $10. You don't need the expensive thing, but it's what are you doing it for? It's why are you even bothering? Because if it's just using an instrument, it's whatever. Cards are similar where it's like, well, do you need the high-end brand? You don't need. You probably want. Why do you want? Because it's rare, because it's got a little more prestige. Maybe it's more interesting. There's a variety of reasons why.
When I win the lottery, I'll have you come pen shopping with me.
There's a lot of good stuff, man. I love World War II letters, Mystery Science Theater 3000 DVDs, wrestling stuff, and rocks, of course. Just the room for everything.
I like old school. I like World War II history, World War One history. I love reading those old letters. That's cool. Rocks.
Rocks?
Diamonds?
Well, maybe. What if it's like one of those things? Like do you remember those rocks that have like the like where they've got the rocks and like the crystals inside?
Yes.
Do you remember those things?
Yes, I do.
I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe it's one of those deals.
Or is he just talking about pebbles on the driveway? Like, I don't know.
Who can say? It's Dave. Who knows?
Dave, where are you?
One was an Ultimate 97 auto of Medano on the wings. Ultimate 1997. Well, Medano didn't play on the wings until basically 2010. So I'm not sure exactly what that's referencing. Maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe you need to elaborate on that one. Wrestling stuff has more than cards. Yes, it very much does. Dave has a lot of the action figures because he's usually got them in the background. If you ever see like in his podcast, he's got the wrestling figures in the background. Yep, finally crafted pen. Like I said, when it comes to that stuff, that's a whole rabbit hole in and of itself. And you can go inexpensive, you can go expensive, and there's a lot of room in between.
I used to have the wrestling set with there were like a 4x4 ring, I think it was, and the wrestling figures were like about this big, right? And had Rowdy Piper. I'm trying to remember what it was, but they were.
Did it come with the set? Did it come with the set?
I can't remember, but I remember it was really popular when wrestling was there, and you could not find the Hulk Hogan ones. You can only find Rowdy Piper. Just back when Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, I think, was a wrestler. I don't remember. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I remember from wrestling. But I grew out of wrestling fairly quickly as I got older.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like a lot of other genres and things is like, look, it has its appeal for you at the time. It has its appeal for you. For some people, it sticks around. Like I said, it's a form of entertainment. If you like the TV show, you're watching the TV show. If you don't like the TV show, you stop watching the TV show. That's the way it works.
My wrestling, I think I'll get into it one day why I don't like wrestling, but I will save that for another long-winded, not on topic YouTube broadcast.
Fair enough. So here's a question from Brian. This is a good one. So for real, can you two recommend any hockey hobby boxes to buy and rip? Is there anything shiny in there? There's lots of shiny things out there, Brian. Do you want to be? But let me ask a question. Let me ask a question that'll help us out, Ameet. Okay, you talk about fairly recent or whenever? Because if it's whenever, there's a lot of room. There's a lot of room there. There's a lot of 90s stuff that would qualify. There's a lot of early 2000s stuff that would qualify. Now, if you're talking more recent, there's certainly stuff that'll still qualify, but like it depends. Need a little bit of clarity.
There's a lot of like all the new stuff is shiny though, Brian. So Allure, OPG Platinum, Allure is a good one. Synergy is another one that's got a lot of different shiny out there. But it depends on like what kind of shiny you're after. The old school shiny is I would talk to Amish Dave. He knows. Apparently, he has a wealth of hobby knowledge in everything old school insert wise. Mm-hmm. So he could probably recommend a couple of things. If I had to think of an older product I really enjoyed ripping was Donna's Preferred. Whenever I can find it, I always rip it. Another one was the product that looked like a postage stamp. I want to say Priority.
Yeah, that was Donna's Priority. Yep.
Yeah,
that was with the stamp of approval. The stamp of approval was.
I like those ones.
Those are really good.
There's a lot of different ones. That's what it's new stuff. I would definitely Allure is a good one. I like Allure. I like Synergy. I like Credentials. I'm actually in the minority on that stuff. I really like those products.
No, that's fair. And so I think we got some elaboration on it. So let me grab some of these comments here. So first, Hockey Guy says, set from UD Ultimate, they did a 97 redesign for autographs.
Yeah,
Interesting.
he was in that one.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, I'll have to look into it. Sounds familiar. He says Piper's cooler than Hogan. Yeah, well, that's a low bar to hit, but fair enough. Hogan was never cool. He was popular, but he was never cool, to be fair. Yeah, Paul makes the same comment here. Have you tried Allure? Shiny bunch of cows. They very much are. That's very true.
Yeah.
And Dave mentions here geodes, agates. So stuff that's interesting visually in terms of the rocks. So that's fair.
Hello, Google.
Yeah, yeah. You can look that up while you're talking. So Brian's saying new stuff, and you guys mentioned a couple of the sets there. To be honest, O-Pee-Chee Platinum also qualifies. It is shiny, and I think
and highly collectible. So yeah. It is the rocks with the crystals in it.
Exactly. So yeah. So I was in the right. I was on the right track. I just guessed, but that seemed to me like that would make sense to me. So he loves.
That's very sophisticated, though.
What's that?
That's very sophisticated of Dave.
Are you underestimating Dave again?
Well, wrestling. He wrote wrestling and rocks. If he had said wrestling and
The Rock,
yeah, that anyway.
It would have played for you. So anything Pacific 97 2000, yes. For the most part, yes. There's a lot of great Pacific stuff there that totally qualifies. Pinnacle Zenith, yes.
Yeah.
The Z teams are great, man. Love the Z teams. Huge fan. They're getting a little more expensive, but they're still really awesome. Anything Dufex. I love the Dufex.
Gold Label is a good one. I remember that one.
Here we go. Pacific Prism. That's a good one too. That's a really good one. That's
Pacific Private Stock was actually ahead of its time. It was that thick, whitish kind of border. I think Patrice Bergeron rookie year, whatever year that is.
Yeah, and there was a year of titanium that had oil foil.
Yeah.
Like 99, 2000, I want to say, or maybe 2000, 2001.
It had the etched inserts too. Those were nice.
Very good. They're right in that late 90s, early 2000s is like the sweet spot. There's some really good stuff in there, without question. Now that's kind of why a lot of us are fans of it. So let me do this here. 2003, 2004. That's definitely one there. I think though there was also, I'm trying to remember the year. Here we go. All full titanium was 2000, 2001. Thank you. That is the right one.
That was the, if I remember correctly, private stock. Panini. Pacific Private Stock was the first $20 pack.
Probably.
And Upper Deck came out with UD Premier around the same time.
Yep. Revolution was nuts for shine. True. A true statement as well. Definitely. Just going to take a look here. Cool. Let me grab something on here, actually. So I'll leave it to you, Ameet, if you want to do it. I actually have a handful of cards. Since the ComC stuff isn't coming in for a while, I figure I'll show off a couple of cards that I picked up just because it's fun and I can pull up the pictures.
For sure. I can see if I got a couple here as well.
Yeah. Let me grab this one. This is kind of a fun one. Heroes and Prospects. So I'll give you guys an example. Heroes and Prospects is one that has a lot of interesting stuff. Tell me what you think of this one, Ameet. I'm kind of a fan. So let me grab this guy here. What do you think of this one?
Oh, nice. Yeah, that is nice.
I like the patch. You know, Paul Bidner doesn't really do anything for me. I don't know who he is, but it's kind of cool that's the patch that's on there, though. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And it's out of 10, so that's kind of cool. That was actually a pretty cheap card. It wasn't that
What
crazy.
is the back of it? Like, where is that jersey from?
So here it is. Game use
patches. They just relating?
Yeah, it was like a prospect. It was like a prospect jersey.
So that's the only relationship. It's a Dallas Farm System, and
well, I actually don't know who Paul Bittner is as far as prospect. I know he was in the top prospects game, but that's as far as I know. He was on Team Orr, based on the picture. That's all I know for sure.
Oh,
and that was $15.19 out of 10. What does that tell you? $15.19, but that's a sweet patch for 15.
I'll show you a card I picked up. I'm actually going to try and find more of these.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty cool.
I fell in love with the Fanimation inserts.
Oh, that's right. You were saying that the other day. That's
right. So I found this, and it's actually fairly decent shape.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get the LeBron for sure out of it, but I really like it. They're actually really neat.
Well, I would agree with that. I think that's fair.
So that's one I picked up. What else did I pick up? I showed you the Acuna, but this is the hockey crowd, so I'll save that.
That's fair. Let me show one here real quick, and then I'll pass the baton back to you here.
Sure.
This one I like. So this is the hockey crowd, but I want to show this one anyway because I kind of like these for baseball. I saw this one here, and I was like, okay, I'll get it. So this one here is the 3D. This is the 3D version of this with the rookie
Nice.
cup. I'm a big fan of these. I think the print run was about 500 of these, so it's actually pretty solid. They're not numbered, but it's kind of a cool card. Plus, I like the rookie cup. I'm just a fan. Like I said, I like Soto for what he does, and I think he could be pretty good. I just like cards like that. They're not super expensive. They're not super crazy. I think that was another $15 card. Like, I'm not breaking the bank on this stuff. It's pretty reasonable, I think.
Trying to find something I bought for myself. I do a lot of like buying to flip stuff on CompC. Um, I should probably look in my. No, I can show you the Jagger. Did I show the Jagger earlier?
Which one?
No, I never showed the Jagger. I'll show it now.
So then the answer is no.
So I bought this. This is the Jagger.
Okay,
PSA
here's the
10.
rookie. This is what you were talking about.
So the Jagger
And what
rookie.
was what, $75?
Yep.
For a PSA 10, I think that's reasonable.
I think it's fine. And I don't have one, right? And he's definitely a Hall of Famer. Jeremy, I was talking to Jeremy, and that kind of helped me convince myself to buy it.
Okay.
There's that. What else have I bought?
So Vinny's just saying 99 2000 gold label is on David Adams. That's pretty cool. I will say, Vinny, though, the one that I wish they had, like the one that I would probably go out of my way to get, I still love 98 99 gold label. Like the first year gold label was just so good that I would love to open up a box of that again.
So here's another one.
Yeah, I'm just getting some background from Paul C here. So Paul Bittner was drafted by Columbus, is currently playing the AHL. Yeah, that makes sense. Which one is this?
So I like these inserts. So somebody was asking about shinies. I can't remember who it was. Synergy has these Cast for Greatness inserts.
Oh, that's out of 50. Nice.
Yeah. So I picked one of Ovechkin, which I like a lot.
That's cool.
These are heavier cards. So it's kind of neat.
Okay.
I'm
Is
going
it
to
cardboard
try.
or is it made out of another material?
I almost want to say it's a metal of some sort, but I forget now. I haven't held one in a while.
Nice.
That was one I picked up for PC, and then if anybody's out there, whoever has stuff for sale, I always buy low numbered Hall of Famer stuff.
Okay, I'm going to answer this question from Hockey Guy. Where are all the 98 99 MVP hobby boxes? Like, are you serious?
Crack.
Hold on. Let me see. I want to make sure I'm not going to misquote you. I want to make sure I don't want to misquote you here. So let me do something here. Bear with me a second. I will look this up just to make sure I'm not losing my mind. I was right about it before, but I just want to make sure. Okay, here. Okay, are we talking about this here? 36 pack boxes? This is what we're talking about?
What site is that?
36 pack boxes are not hobby. 36 packs do not have gold or silver scripts. Okay. So that's Grizzly Sports Cards. That's the guys that have all the other stuff.
Yeah, I bought some stuff today off Grizzly. I bought they have some Kiss blasters. Actually, here's a cool card I bought. I'll show you this one. I always buy the Kiss blasters. You never know when you might get an auto. So I am I used to be a super collector of Wendell Clark. I always pick up these cards whenever I can find them. I want to say I have about 150 of these in different print runs.
Okay, so the different parallels and stuff.
Yeah. I'm missing the 1 of 1, which I regret not buying, which if ever comes back, I will buy it. But I love Artifacts duels. The Artifacts cards are very aesthetically pleasing for me.
Yeah, I think they're pretty good. I enjoy them.
They're very old school looking too, which I like. So I got that for my PC. So I always try and find Wendell Clark of those, and then Upper Deck Foundations whenever I find them. Which looks like I put it away. What else here? I buy a lot of stuff to flip, so it's hard to find things.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things you have to kind of separate out. For you, it's a lot more like a mixed bag of it. So Hockey Guy is just asking. So are you a Kiss fan?
Hell no.
Okay.
I bought this to flip. I don't know what the hell I bought it for. Actually, what the hell did I buy this for?
This is a reoccurring refrain with Ameet, by the way.
I
He'll
have
be
no
like,
idea
"What the
why I
hell did I
bought.
buy this for?" A Trish Stratus card, okay.
Apparently, in wrestling, she's the one. I guess. I don't know. And then I
uh,
bought this one for a PC.
okay, sure. I was secretly hoping that if you'd be like, "What did I buy this for?" PSA 10,
I don't know why I
7980,
bought
or
it
PG.
though. No idea why I would buy such trash. Anyways,
There are so many jokes of me, so many jokes, and they will be made. Oh yes.
and then yeah, I don't know why I bought that.
Are you
Stupid.
sure you just didn't want a Trish Stratus card to meet? Are you sure that's not what it
Oh, there's a
was?
lot. Have you seen the other Trish Stratus cards? There's way better ones than that one.
That's a fair. Now that is a valid point, but you do have to save your money for the Ziggy Palfies. Come on, man. You have to keep the price price point at a reasonable level.
Fine.
So this one is a little bit more random, but not if you've seen any of my recent mail days. It'll make more sense for that. So this one here is a little bit more random here. So 60 through fear, Carl Yastrzemski, PSA 6. So that's kind of a set I'm starting to work on a little bit here. So ComC had the Carl Yastrzemski, so I was like, sweet, I like it. So I picked
So
it up.
here's one I'll share once you're ready.
Yep, go ahead. You're good.
So I like old school inserts. So there's
Okay,
one.
guy, that is why I merely allude and I leave it to you guys to figure out. I
What?
merely allude. Don't worry about it. Whoa, whoa.
You lose what?
Don't worry about it. It's all good.
I like old school football inserts. So I found this one which I liked.
Well, the Manning, I think, is a good call. And this is
Yeah.
what, molten metal?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just an interesting card. So I picked up stuff like that.
Hold on. Can you scroll to the thing here? We hear your dad was pretty proud of that rookie season you had. Even he didn't even be as good as a rookie. What's your secret, Peyton? You must have quite a quick learn. Like, really? This is the back of the card?
Dude, man, I didn't
I
write
love
this
it.
shit.
Amazing. Yeah, no kidding. Really? That's fantastic. Yeah, I'm a big fan of it, Paul. That was kind of there is a rhyme or reason why I chose to start picking up cards from that set. And I think you mentioned the comment, and I'll explain more about it. It is a very interesting set. It has an interesting history.
Oh,
It's not a
here it is.
random selection.
I buy these oddball stuff because it's hilarious. People still collect these.
Oh yes, the Christmas ornament. Well,
Yeah.
that's festive. It's festive.
So there's that.
Yeah. So tell you what,
And then I
do
also
you,
picked
do
up this.
if you leave the screen share on, that's a nice one. I like that.
Yeah.
Leave the screen share on for a second. I'm going to come back in 2 seconds. Okay.
Yeah. So I picked up this one. I thought it was cool. Aaron Rodgers. I figure, eventually he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. So I bought inserts of his just to see what's there. I thought it was interesting. Clean card. It's Aaron Rodgers. Can't really go wrong. What else here? Let me see. What else did I buy here? Oh, I bought this. Ted Williams. Parallel. Why not? Oh, and then I was showing this to someone else the other day. Another parallel from back in the day. Brett Favre, star-studded. I don't know if these are numbered, but I just like to look at them. They remind me of the stained glass parallels. So I really like that stuff. So I think Amish Dave and Broncos fan, you probably do footballs inserts, do you? You do say that, yeah. So I like some football inserts. I'm trying to think what else I bought. That's pretty much all I have that's interesting. What else I here? Oh, I found this. This is cool. Oh, wait a minute. There's a Matt Dumba. I like the Matty Ice. It just sounds cool. I thought it was a cool card. I wonder if what's his jersey number, Dave? Do you know? Off the top of your head, is it 44 or 34? Anyways, let's
What
show
was
the
the last
couple
one?
there.
What was that last one?
Oh, I found a Dumba Ice. Here, I'll show you.
Well, Dave's all about the Dumba cards.
Yeah, so I found this one. I thought it was really cool. I just like the look and feel of it.
By the way, Dave, just out of curiosity, do you just do like Dumba rookie or stuff, or is it just Dumba in general all across, or what's the deal? I was just curious because I know he's got a pretty extensive collection of a lot of interesting stuff. So I was just curious if he has like any specific years or limitations on the Dumba collection.
Is he? I'm waiting for him to answer.
Yeah, I'm just looking here, just grabbing these. So yeah, sorry. So Dave was saying here earlier. So Steve and I do discuss '90s football inserts and meet from time to time. Absolutely, they do. It's one of those things. Like I mentioned earlier, the podcast tends to be like conversation, but then of course in the midst of it, because they are big fans of a lot of the '90s sports in general. So the other sports have some mega cool inserts, no doubt, no doubt. I'm not sure what the 24 is in reference to. I'm going to skip ahead here a little bit. He was 55, so his name is spelled Dumbo 55. Very true. There's a TD edition of that Favre that is serial numbered. Cool. So I guess maybe they're talking about numbering on a card. Not sure. Oh, Dumbo's 24. Got it.
Oh, that's his number. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, my curiosity. So, Dave, if you heard that, I'm just curious. Do you collect everything Dumba as well? I know Josh Johnson is everything, but for Dumba, is it everything, or is it certain types of cards, or certain years, or what's the situation with Dumba? I'm just curious. Because it's one of those things where because Dave does collect a lot of different player collections, and sometimes it's tricky. Like, so you know that for Medano, I collect everything, but I do collect some Jamie Benn as well. But with Jamie Benn, I'm a lot more picky. I'll collect the rookie year stuff because I'm really particularly interested in it. It's a limited checklist. But then outside of that, I'll collect something if it's kind of if it's a neat card that I like. So like if it's cool, like a cool patch or something, I'll pick it up. But I don't try to get everything. Like it's too much stuff. I can't do two players collecting everything. It's too much.
I actually was I had it on my Instagram, but I'll just show you a card I picked up. I don't know if I can find it. Let me see. If,
Yes. So Dave is everything Dumba. Got it. I thought so. I was just curious.
Yeah, I picked up this card the other day. He's one of my all-time favorite players and has an indigenous background.
Okay.
So I like it from that perspective. Hold on, share screen.
Yep. Okay, here we go.
So Chris Simon was one of my all-time favorite players growing up.
Okay, this is the seventh inning sketch. So these are the OHL cards. Right.
Yeah, so I actually found this in one of my boxes, and I had the same feeling of awe when I looked at it that I put it in my PC box. And he has an indigenous background. This one guy I would love to meet because he probably went through a lot in his career, and I'd love to meet and just talk to him. And I just loved everything about him. So it's one of my favorite cards. So I definitely decided very most recently, and I'm going to see if I can pick up some more of his higher end stuff, but I really love this player.
Okay. That's fair. So apparently Buffalo's 10-3 now officially.
Oh, they won? They won.
26-15. Yep.
Nice.
It's a good solid performance. And now I'm curious, I'm looking it up here. I'm just curious how Josh Allen did. Not bad. Not amazing, but not bad.
What was it this year? Was it the Broncos that had 3 different quarterbacks or something? What happened there?
Well, basically, I think it was a combination of injuries and COVID. So basically, like they had to run through to the point, like, so they had used like their backup wasn't available, their third stringer wasn't available. Like it was ridiculous. It was absolutely hysterical. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a combination of the two. And that's just very interesting.
He might be, but I mean, he went through a lot. Like, I'm just thinking I just read story where he went through a lot growing up and, trying to make his name in the hockey world. Yes, he wasn't the most popular person on the ice. I liked him, but I like the enforcers. I love the Bob Hobarts, the Ty Domies, the Wendell Clark. That's what the type of player I wanted to be growing up.
I wouldn't know from the penalty minutes on your card.
Yeah, what is that?
It's a very high number.
Is this 7,000?
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, here it is. Yes. 7,354. Let the camera zoom in. Hello.
You have to put it in front of your face because it zooms in your face. Yeah, I don't know if that. Yeah, there you go. It did it. Yep, now it did it.
So, Dave, this is for you.
Yeah, you'll have to reach out to him. Like I said, I would recommend the Instagram. It probably make the most sense to me. Yeah, so
I don't doubt that. But Sorry, I'm reading the comments now
No, it's
as
all right. That one's specific to Simon, so I get it.
no, I get it. It wasn't the greatest move. I mean, a lot of people didn't like Tom Lysiak either because he tried to chop a goalie's head off. But if you guys like listening to, I don't know why I thought about this, but Serge Savard was talking about he wanted to get fighting out of the game when he was with Montreal, and my brother does a podcast called Sportslit. SPORTSLIT, and he does books. So any athletes or anyone in the sports industry who's written books, he interviews them. So check it out. This dude's his latest one, which is on Search of Art. It's really nice.
How is that coming along, by the way? I know you were talking about that.
His podcast?
Yeah, that's coming
really
along.
well. They've got quite a few people on it and done really well. So
so when do you go on there to talk and extensively about the Ziggy Puffy world?
Never. I don't think my brother would ever let me on.
but you're the foremost authority on Ziggy. Like, that's a resource, man. What the heck?
I know. But when I do my own YouTube channel, and believe me, I'm thinking about it. Carlos, I'm this close to possibly joining you and Jeremy in the YouTube world.
I told you, if you wanna chat about it offline, just say the word. We can talk anything you need to know. I have no issue with it. I will support you in your endeavor.
It'll be a serious one, but I'll save my
what?
Oh yeah, it'll be a serious one. Very serious.
Uh-huh.
There'll be no
shenanigans. No shenanigans.
I'll save that for when I talk to you. Carlos, you get this side of me.
Okay. We get the shenanigans here.
You get the shenanigans. Dave will get it occasionally.
Yeah, right?
Whenever I'm on his show. I'm scared to attend his show.
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Just be prepared.
Jeremy's show, I have my hobby talk. So I'm gonna do. I'm thinking about a YouTube channel idea. I'm just gonna let it let it percolate a little bit more and see if it's something I really want to do. And I might join you. I might join you all.
Look at you. So I'll grab Dave's comment in 2 seconds. So let me show off 1 or 2 cards here. This is kind of a side PC that I'll play around with once in a while. ComC is perfect for this type of side PC, by the way. I will say, for all the issues the platform does have, and we've always been very transparent, it has issues. They need to fix certain things, and they haven't fixed them. But I will say, for certain types of inventory and things, it is useful, and this is a good example of that. I do like to try to pick up the odd Carlos Delgado card because I still think he's an underrated player, to be honest with you. I think for me, he is a candidate to be a Hall of Fame guy. At some point, they'll look back at his numbers in context for his time period and realize like he was pretty good. And he got injured, so he had to retire early and still put up excellent numbers. This is the minted in Cooperstown from 98 Tops, and I opened boxes of 98 Tops. I remember this set fondly, so I have one of those, and then I grabbed the Diamondbacks version also from that year. So it's kind of a fun year and fun set to pick up some cards from. I enjoy stuff like that. So David's just mentioning that he did message you. So perfect. So you should have a message on Instagram.
Okay,
Dave.
I'll check it out. One thing I didn't do, actually I just realized, now I'm regretting not starting it yet, but I'm going to have to start, is that's really good to know, Dave, for sure. The
thing is a lot of just saying also for you, Ameet, but also for anybody else who's listening. If any of you do ever want to take up like the YouTube thing, a lot of us will give you, if you want to ask questions about that, knock yourself out. Because it's like we learn by doing. Dave's been around YouTube for a long time. I've been around it for a long time, but I've only been creating for certain years. Mind you, sports cards are more recent, but I was making videos back 5 and 6 years ago doing other stuff. It was a good experimental period that taught me some lessons that I carried forward when I came back and did it again. But there are people with experience, and they're not hoarding the information. You can ask questions. And
for sure, I definitely will do that. I'm going to pick your brain, Jeremy's brain, and whatnot. The one set I wanted to start collecting, and you just reminded myself of it, was I wanted to get the Brooklyn Dodgers set. So I need to start looking on that. And
Brooklyn Dodgers like team set?
Yeah.
So like from you know that Brooklyn goes back to like T206 when they were like the Superbas.
I talked about only collecting them when Jackie was on the team.
Okay. So basically from I want to say 48 on? 48 to 56?
48, yeah. There's like 2 or 3 years total I want to get.
There's more than that.
No, of the years I want to collect. There was one I agreed. Yeah, okay. 48 to I think 53. I think was what I picked.
Any particular reason? Because he is in the 54 set and the 56 set, and I think the 55
Yeah,
set.
there was a reason. I remember. I write these reasons down. I have to remember what it was. But there
Okay.
was a reason why. But I can't
Because
remember.
in 55 they won the World Series, and 56 was his last card.
I might even go all of them. Who knows? But I need
Yeah,
to.
because I will say to you, the 56 top set, I've always been a big fan. I think it's a fantastic set, and the Jackie Robinson in that set is a cool card.
Yeah, and I'm gonna just take a look. I want to get some graded ones, so let me just
Yeah,
take a look real quick.
they were pretty decent. I'll agree with you, hockey guy. Delgado was like absurdly consistent. That was his whole thing. Is that I think he got overshadowed. I think it was 03. He was second in MVP voting to A-Rod, and we all know kind of A-Rod had help. Now, if
A
somebody
little bit.
was, yeah, a little bit. But the thing is, but here's the problem. Like, this is the unfortunate thing about that era. Okay, so he did steroids. It helped him out, right? But Delgado was second in MVP voting that year. If it had been like a fair fight, Delgado's career takes on a different context if he has at least one MVP in his mantle. Like, it makes people like think a little bit more like, oh wait, he won because he was a first baseman. The problem with being a first baseman is that if for whatever reason you're not like hitting 50 bombs a year in that era, whether guys were on the juice or not, but if you weren't that guy, you weren't a perennial all-star. So it was like Delgado, oh, but Delgado wasn't an all-star that much. He was a first baseman. You were screwed. That position was deep in the 90s. Like you were dead. In that position, you weren't going to get very far. He likes to nurture it. He likes to nurture it as often as he can.
I think I've hit that wall, buddy.
Yeah, that's all good. All right, guys. So I think we're winding down here a little bit, and timing-wise, I think we're pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. So what I'll say is, if you got any last kind of questions or comments, I'll be happy to grab them on here. I was looking to see if there were any other cards that I thought were interesting, worth sharing. Maybe I'll grab something off eBay real quick here. Let me just see.
I don't have for me to find what I want to show. It's hard because I buy so many to flip.
It is a bit of an issue. Okay, I'll show this one because it doesn't give away one of the things I'm kind of planning on. But I still think it's a cool card, so I think it's worth a look. All right, tell me what you think about this one. This one's from eBay here. So yeah, hockey guy, 10 straight years of 30 home runs. Yes, the consistency was absurd. Like Delgado was really consistent. Okay, so let's check this one out. What do you think about this one?
Oh, that's nice.
I like the patch, like the Jamie Benn patch in the middle in particular. Like the Jack Campbell patch is pretty good, but the Jamie Benn patch, I like that one. I'm not sure exactly what part of the, like I have to look at it again and just see if I can figure out what part of the jersey that one comes from. But it's a cool looking card.
Oh, I do have one card I can show.
Sure, yeah, by all means.
So I am a Star Trek fan.
Okay.
And there's a couple like bucket list. Sorry, am I showing anything?
Not yet. Hold on, and now you are.
So this was a card that was on ComC for the longest time, and the guy had it at a really high price. And then during the last sale, he must have marked his entire port 50% off. Okay. And I couldn't believe my luck, and I picked that up. So I'm glad to have Chekhov. So I have, of the original cast, I'm missing only Scotty, which is very expensive to get. So I've got all the rest. So I'm happy to finally knock this one off the list. And it's not all from the same set. I pick whenever they're available and affordable.
That's cool.
So I was pretty happy to find this one.
That's pretty neat. If you're a fan, why not?
Oh, yeah. So that's and that'll, stand the test of time.
Sounds good. So let me grab a comment here. So Hockey Guy saying looks like the Texas shoulder patch. I think you're right. I have to take a closer look at it, but I'll kind of break it down and figure it out. I just thought it was really neat. Like a triple patch out of 10 from the cup. That's sweet. Like I'm not going to argue with that. All right. So I'll show one final card here and then that'll be it for me. I like these. So, I mean, I think you'll appreciate this one. I have to see if I can take a better picture of it after. This is just one that I won on eBay. So I'll show you guys. Here you go.
Nice.
The 6 Sense Wizards. Big fan of this technology, this design. Now, there is a reason why I picked this one up. Dave has at least a little bit of an inkling why. I'm having a little fun with this, a little mini side project as well, but it's going to be like one of the offside projects that I'll play around with from time to time. But these cards are just fun in general. I would love to build a set, but like the Gretzky is out of sight. Like I'm not even considering it.
Yeah.
But they were really good. They were really good cards for that time period. If you ever get a chance to see these 6th Sense wizards, check them out because the tech on these resembles the Star Rubies. And there are some other cards that use this technology. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff.
Do we still have 20 viewers?
We're still about 13, 14.
Yeah, okay.
Here we go. JR fills it in. It's from the 20th anniversary logo. Yeah, I picked it up from JR. He's the one who sold it. I bought it off of eBay from there.
JR Superstar.
Yeah. I think the dual patch was also from you, wasn't it, JR? I could be mistaken. But JR actually threw in some cool toss-ins. One of the toss-ins was a card I hadn't seen before. I was unaware of it. It was the leather and laces, but there's a leather and laces insert. There's the promo card, and then there's another promo card. But Beckett only shows promo card the one, while the other one was the one that JR tossed in. So I was like, oh, cool. I didn't know this was the thing, number one. But now I add it to my personal checklist, but I also added it to the collection. So I was like, all right, sweet. Well, that's another card off my list. So so 2 of his toss-ins were cards I didn't have in addition to the card I bought.
Nice.
No complaints by me. I enjoyed it. Yeah, same foil as the prismatic autos. Exactly. Yep. It was the same tech with the little stars as you tilt it, the shine on it, you get these little stars. It's very cool. SPX Starscape. Yes, you got it. Sounds good. All right, guys. So I think that's it for us. I think it's been another good stream. Thank you all for hanging out. Thank you all for joining and putting in some great comments and things. Ameet and I will talk. We may do another one next week. We'll have to see. It's a scheduling thing. We'll make sure it's all good. We'll establish it at halftime. If the answer is yes, I'll put in the placeholder similar to last time, and I'll let everybody know. Instagram's the best way to check, because if you see the Instagram, I'll let everybody know ahead of time just so that you know they're here. But it's been a great evening. So I think we'll call it a night a little bit, a couple of minutes shy of midnight here in the East Coast.
Thank you.
Thank you all for joining in. Here we go. No, JR, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, guys. So that's it for us. Have a good evening and enjoy the rest and enjoy your new week.